Welcome back everyone to another fine Sunday here in Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League for the India region 2023. Super excited after watching last week's action. My name is Lucifer. Back on the desk with me is going to be Ocean. Ocean, how are you feeling for the second week?
Another week, another storyline is what I'm feeling, right? We are going to witness something incredible happening here. Last week, I remember, if my memory just, recalls me, it was 2-0, 2-0 all over, right?
Yeah.
But this week, I want to see something different. I want to see 1-1s coming. I want to see best of threes happening. That is my storyline for this week. But then again, we'll have to see if that happens or if this week also gives us a clean sweep or not.
Yeah, I mean, because still for a couple of teams, it's going to be the first games, even though it's been a week. There are teams, which one particularly is going to be Marcos, who we'll be looking forward to. But we did talk about Marcos' end, where they were able to witness all the four teams in the previous week and also were able to cook up strats, right, with the big timeline that they had all over throughout to a next Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. But in case our viewers who are joined in from other regions as well, looking forward to what the Indian region is doing in terms of the teams, and for more information, you just saw the link, you can click on it for more information about maybe East Asia or Southeast Asia. But now quickly, Ocean, will jump into what we have for the audience, not just information but a giveaway, and this giveaway is exclusively to the Malaysia and Singapore region.
Yeah, I mean, this is not for us though, but I believe for us we have the immense, amazing games for ourselves. But yeah, talking about this giveaway, everyone from those regions can just participate and get a part of them for themselves. You just need to complete a registration on Seam Elements and using the same Twitch account, and well, you will be eligible for this one. And talking about this, right? I wish I could get something or maybe everything out of this one. I mean, that sound greedy? I mean, I want everything, but we'll talk about that later on. Right now, here are the teams.
At least the Pikachu keychain. Yeah, again, we'll get back into it. The qualified teams is what you're seeing, a total of 15 teams, not just from one region, but from three regions, as I mentioned, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and India. Phenomenal teams who have given it their all in their respective regions, worked really, really well, and then we did see regional champions as well coming through. But now, whether they might have qualified for this Asia Champions League, their intention is to jump to the finals, become the top two teams from their respective region, qualify through this stages, first stage, second stage, and jump into the LAN Ocean.
Oh, we have the schedule right in front of us. Last week, we saw God's Reign and True Rippers take against each other. True Rippers, I believe, got 2-0. Revenant and SATUL, Revenant got 2-0. Now, Marcos Gaming is coming up onto the map circuit as well. And Marcos Gaming is going to be their first game against True Rippers, who already have had a game for themselves, and they won that game 2-0. Talking about God's Reign, well, God's Reign and SATUL, both of these teams lost. So I want to see what happens today.
Yeah. Marcos is going to be a starter or a debut today for them. On the other end, Two Rippers already have a victory. Interesting to see what's going to be happening, but in case for our viewers, you want to see how teams will be split in terms of the stages. In the first and the second stage, all 15 teams will get to stay. But in the second stage is where we'll be seeing the playoff stage of elimination. Teams who start losing, depending on which ranks they are, their matches will be earlier. The team which will be on the first rank, which you'll be seeing when we go to the league table of every particular region. For India, we go to the India League table, where you will be able to see which team, for now at least after previous week's matches, standing on top. But talking about not just the matches here, there are prizes, the spoils. There is no prize for getting into ranks of top 5 in the first stage, but when you are in the second stage, the first 3 teams get spoils for themselves. $5,000, $2,500 for the second, and third team is going to be getting $1,000. Will not be qualifying, but at least something before going out of the tournament.
Exactly. They'll get that consolation definitely for themselves, but what they will actually get is the experience to be a part and parcel of the entirety for themselves. And I believe that matters more for them, and they know how much, it just gets up for themselves. Talking about tournament rules, it's standard just like last week that we saw. Obviously, 10-minute match timer, best of 3 is what we are playing. 5v5 custom battle. Chaos Fire Ruins is the stadium in which we just see that, and obviously no use limits, no level limits. Obviously, there are just only those Pokemons that you can use in the draft mode. That is there, and the standard basic tournament rules are applied.
We'll be seeing how teams will function this week, because after seeing last week where at all times we saw a Sableye ban, I hope it is not there this time, but if it is there again, I'm looking forward to asking the players why that Sableye ban. I know kind of why it can in terms of doing damage, but every time.
I mean, well, we'll talk about that if there are interviews, happening. But for now, let's talk about the drafts that are just, the draft mode that there is. Obviously, the first two teams, they get to ban one Pokemon. Then they start picking up one after the other. That's how the picks just happen. And then obviously the preparation phase happens. This is the draft mode. A few seconds for the ban phase, a few seconds for the pick phase, a few seconds for the preparation phase, and then 10 minutes of the utter chaos.
I like how you put it. Like 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, then 10 minutes of chaos is what you're going to be seeing.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, it is
going to
true.
be brilliant.
It is true.
Yeah.
If anything, it is
man,
true.
it's just
but
brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll jump into the last week highlights for now and see the brilliant action that unfolded the previous time.
还在找机会看看他们，我再让我刷一集，拜托再让我刷一集吧。这边 poke 还不错哦。我有一个后面的，推到墙壁，顶得住吗？哇，顶得住，把杜力倒了，完蛋，情况不太对劲，而且杜力冲过头了。九尾这个位置也没有到特别好，还没说踩2个，好像要逆转了。关键的一波发出，杜力也迷路了，完了。杜力真是哇，完蛋了，出大事了。
하는데 그런 부분을 시크릿십도 알고 있고요. 자, 싸우나요?
오히려 먼저 들어간
것 같은데요. 헤론이 일단 HP가 적습니다.
근데 뒤쪽에서 두트리어가
잠만 보고 또 틀어누웠어요. 또.
진짜 즐기다 즐겨. 그러면 이거 랭크도 막 타봐야겠죠. 이게 전투에서는 어쨌든 쉽지 않은 상황이고 이게 2명이 없는 상황에서 지속딜이 부족하거든요.
그래도 끝까지 희망을 놓지 않습니다.
짓밟기 쓰면서 지금 어떻게든 버텨주고 있는 하나카이긴 한데 나인테도 좀 무리해서 왔습니다.
괜찮아요.
아니 하나카가 이거 슈퍼 캐리하나요 지금?
That's before the storm comes in, and here we go.
Shifu jumping into the fight. Miva trying to set up for the team, but so far they don't get an elimination. They do some big damage, and so far Eldegoss is down on the side of MYS. They do have, they've lost a lot of their sustain, and now it's going to be up to Dan. The block shenanigans, the high horsepower. But it looks like they're taking Pokemon down. They've actually lost their Alola Ninetales. It's really down to the Dullfox to do most of the damage here. Blissey and Dullfox. Can they maybe get the steal? Because we know Dullfox, it's got one of the highest damage skills in the game. And no, they will not get the steal off, unfortunately. And now it's the Urshan. But even then, it's not enough. Because look at this. Winnie's going to score 100! Winnie! He may have just secured this game. But look at the top lane. We're starting to see those points in. The knockouts are happening. 10 seconds to go. Can Renaissance score these points? 16 from the Mammoth side. Is there any more? I don't think they can get it. 22 from the Cramorant in base. This is too close. But I actually think
we gotta take a look. Who's gonna get it?
Oh
my word!
They have done it. I thought the Cramorant.
But then again, these are the last few 30 seconds, and if something can happen, it's going to be here. Otherwise, True Rippers, well, they might just not see a good scoreline for themselves. Sap is quite close to Ruckus, but we'll have to see what can happen for himself as this. Oh my god, oh my god.
Rayquaza is super low.
It's the only question, 50% HP on Rayquaza as Situel has the entire space. What will Revenant do? That's the only question. They are trying, but
Revenant
will
got
they
it.
take it? Oh my god, Revenant!
Who basically hold the fort while this Blissey is soaking all the damage, but this Tyranitar won't be able to survive. Look at how fast Camera basically goes into shred their HP bar, and he's still doing it. That is a triple streak of knockout, and Renaissance will pave the way.
Oof. Man, that
Oh my
was
God.
one heck of chaos that you already said that unfolded last week. But after that unfolding, you see what the league's table current standings are.
Yeah, definitely. As for now, True Rippers, they had a 2-0, got 3 points at the first position right now. Revenant, same story, different team, different mentality. Obviously, the champions mentality coming up from both teams. And if we talk about God's Reign and SATL, they did not have the best day that day last week. But today, I believe they would want to change that. But who will change that? That's my question, because both of them are going to be just, facing each other. So that is one thing we have to see. But Marcos Gaming, the debut in this league, we'll have to see if this one is what they're looking for.
Yeah, let's hope they have a really good run as they start things off, as we did talk a lot about them in terms of they might have a lot of things written down and noted down in terms of the strat. But one thing I do want to mention is God's Reign and SATL. Their journey does not just go back the previous week after taking the loss. It goes long back, because it was God's Reign who came back with a reverse sweep and denied SATL their grand final position. But to get to the finals here in Asia Champions League, you see, based on the rankings which we just saw, for now it is going to be Revenant as well as True Rippers after previous week's matches standing in the first seed. But that's not going to be the case after we see all the week's matches, and then we get the first to the fifth, and accordingly based on these positions that you see, they'll be marked. But the team which gets that first rank, Ocean, will be qualifying without any tussle or any trouble directly from stage 2 to the finals as well as to the LAN finals.
They will love that, but we are going to be loving this match for us. That is True Rippers versus Marcos. Marcos Gaming coming up here, showcasing up on the first game for themselves. And True Rippers, well, they know how to defeat the best of the best. I'm talking about God's Reign. So Marcos Gaming should be I believe, a piece of a cake for them. But then we'll see, though, what happens, because True Rippers has a different mentality. Marcos has a different mentality. But all that comes down to is what is going to happen in this one final game.
This will be kind of a final game, because here in the league table, they'll be meeting only one. So something for True Rippers as well as Marcos that they have to look forward to. True Rippers, they want to keep their victory streak. Marcos, on the other end, they want to start things off and get points in their own league table, in their own place. And I hope they do get it. If they don't, it's going to be tough for them as well, because we already have two teams after the previous match who have got 0 points, and Marcos will just join. And then it'll become even tougher, because then we might get an idea that Ocean, one of these 3 teams, might end up staying in the bottom of the league stage, and we do not want that happening. But before that,
this is my
a
favorite
little
part.
bit of joyful, exactly, player trivia coming in. Kyo from True Rippers. This is I mean, we did see, I would say, in the previous week where we saw like stronger opponents from SATL's end. Here from Kyo of True Rippers says he learns from his mistake. Sounds similar, but also he says loves to listen to songs. I hope he's also listening to songs when he's playing.
Dodrio and Glaceon are the 2 Pokemons that he just, goes for, but loves to listen to songs. I mean, who doesn't? Come on, man. Everyone loves to listen to songs, right? I love songs. I believe you love songs as well. We talked about, I believe it was Crowley's Heavy Metal that his love was last week. And right now, if we just talk about it, Kyo just goes for his own songs. If I get a chance to talk to him, I would want to ask him, which type of songs are his favorite, though.
Which genre? I agree. We did see heavy metal. We did see taking name of also a career, I would say, writer in terms of Badshah. So we'll be looking forward to if we get a chance. But now we'll jump into another player, which is going to be Vox from Marcos Gaming. We just spoke about anime, right? And last week, and he says binges anime. I mean, we've all done that, right? Whenever it's either a new one or whenever one of our friends end up saying you need to watch this, or you feel that FOMO of being left out when there's a conversation, you end up doing that night itself.
Definitely. But as of now, good luck meal is McDonald's. I like McDonald's Happy Meal for one reason, because you get a toy in that, and that's just one of my things.
Yes.
But let's talk about one major Pokemon out here which was being banned last week. Now I want to see what happens if this one gets banned right now. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, we can see Sableye. I'm looking forward to if Vox will get a chance to pick it, or will it be banned. And also the chaos that Vox can maybe unfold with that Pokemon, because we were seeing, right, Ocean, that everybody was banning Sableye even before we see the action unfolded of what that single Pokemon could do.
Now we'll see though what this Pokemon can do. if it just gets up onto the pick right now, because in a while we'll be coming up with the match definitely, and with that match starting up, I want everyone to just hold on to their devices, because I believe this is going to be utter chaos, but good chaos in one sense. Obviously one team is going to get that victory for themselves, but the other team might just get some slight learning if it just comes down to it. We'll definitely see that happening once the match just gets on the way. But for now, what do you think? What are your predictions? I don't know. I want to go with True Rippers again, just like last week.
Yeah. I feel like they're very well composed, and especially that they got a chance to watch all the teams throughout the India Open the last week, and now how they will be ready. Yes, Marcos might be a wild card, because Marcos also played one match, got eliminated, and therefore we did not see a lot of Marcos action after the LAN. So True Rippers, they might have some read on the other three teams here in the Asia Champions League in the India region. Not too sure about how much they've been cooking up for Marcos. On the other hand, Marcos, they've seen what True Rippers does. True Rippers is very chaotic and also super aggressive, Ocean. Now to stop that, we did see what God's Reign brought in. They broke them and shattered them into pieces. Let's see if they will be able to do it here today.
Let's see now, as we're just talking about it, we'll just get to understand what are the picks and what is happening overall. First thing, we go for the ban, then we move forward with everything. Now this becomes really interesting. I was just gonna say, now it becomes really interesting if we see another Sableye ban. I mean, that's gonna be a story of all the weeks, if anything. Last week we saw that. Come on, show me the money. Show me the money.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Now it's all left to
Snorlax,
Vox, but unfortunately, Vox is not there in at least this playing five for this first game.
Yeah. Eldegoss and Snorlax, I get it.
Eldegoss, we've seen what happened last week. Safe loved it. We even saw Swifty getting that victory for his team. This week, as we started off itself, they've denied that from happening. And also we saw Daksh, how brilliantly he played the previous week. So True Rippers with that Snorlax, so making sure that does not repeat today, they've banned it. So Daksh, he makes the change and picks up the Mamoswine. But Kyurem, maybe Vox is not here, but he fills that shoe of getting the Sableye in.
Sableye is his. Mr. Mime on Rex. This looks really good for all of them. Sizer, we see one. We see Mamoswine as well, just coming up new. Like, these are pretty decent picks. And like, nothing wrong in all of these. I just want to see what are the last two picks. Alrighty, this is looking really decent. Cramorant coming up on Devesh. Now Snowy is the one who's got to get that pick, and it looks like he has Urshifu for him.
We did see Urshifu coming in from SATL's Might as well, as we saw previously.
Yes.
But it was not that effective. Can Snowy make it work this week? Double all-rounders, one ranged attacker and a double supporter from Marcos. On the other end, if you talk about True Rippers, they have two all-rounders, one ranged attacker, but one defender as well as one supporter. So in terms of healing as well as somebody tanking a lot of damage, they have that areas covered. True Rippers have every positions kind of held on, but the wild card here is going to be Sableye after the action we have not seen it unfolded here in the India region with Sableye.
Let's see now what is going to happen in all of these situations. As we start off with the game, definitely in some time, True Rippers versus Marcos. Here we go.
Game 1. True Rippers, can they keep up their clean slate of victories, or are they going to get their final defeat against Marcos? Marcos, they're the unknowns as they're treading in. As we talk about the mid lanes, it's going to be super crucial. Walk, he is the one who's looking forward to gaining experience, leveling up and becoming the Tyranitar very soon. On the other end, it's Scyther, along with, just in case somebody tries to enter to their mid lane in their region, it was Swinub for now, but we will wait for it. In the meantime, the first goal gets dunked from none other than Rex from Marcus Gaming, a big 7, but True Rippers answer back, still a 1. Early stages, no complaints for now here, Ocean.
Let's see what is happening in the situations as we slowly and steadily see both of them starting up, both the teams starting up. Mr. Mime, alright, moving on to the backside. Daksh needs to stay away from the harm's way, but it looks like he does not even care right now, as Marcos, they are trying to trying to take him apart, but looks like we see the knockouts happening already.
He runs away, does not give away his life thankfully on the bottom lane, but in the meantime, Devesh trying to put a hold to Rex as well as his teammate Murium. Rex goes down, Murium did not get the chance to survive. Not too sure if his cooldown was there, that's the reason he could not use his solar beam. But on the other end, top lane battle, super intense, super low was Snowy. Quickly grabs the citrus berry and Wall holds down. But it's still a 3-man push coming in. They're looking forward to doing damage, eliminating both the holders of top lane and dunking goals. And Marcos unable to hold it. True Rippers gain the lead.
They do get the lead for themselves, but now we'll still have to see if something good is more and more coming out from this one or not. Look at that. Slowly and slowly they are just trying to get up a good hold for themselves as we just talk about it. Oh, now Marcos really needs to just start up for themselves. Look at that. Devesh already was trying. Dux just staying in that tall grass for himself. This lane is looking really chaotic, but Rex was trying to come up. Devesh is on low health, so he just needs to stay back, stay put for now.
We're talking about stabilized action. You saw from nowhere he swooped in, making use of his feint, and immediately jumped into the action. Back into the game is him. Delivers a knockout, eliminates Azumarill. Looking forward to another one. Eliminates the Blissey, but after that, two players, Kyo along with the right now. Pillar Swine will be looking forward to getting to Mammoth Swine. Kyo is still fighting, and now only Rex is left, and then Devesh swoops in. True Rippers players stand, keep control of it. A 3 big knockout streak coming in. What a play from Kyo on the Scyther.
Oh my god, this was looking really good in the situation, but look at that. True Rippers, Devesh and Kyo are on really low HP. They need to stay away from the harm's way. That they will. True Rippers, they have that advantage already for themselves. 3 minutes in this game, and True Rippers is looking really deadly. Karam, will he be able to survive this one? I don't think so. Another knockout happening.
No more sneaks. This time again he went for that sneak, but did not work out. They found him, eliminated him, and now he's having trouble. So is the entire team of Marcos. One after another, they're just losing positions, losing places, as well as about to lose a goal zone. 23 more, and there is more than enough from all the players who are just dunking goals in the bottom lane. The Regis have spawned from both the top and the bottom lane. Before that itself, a goal zone gets destroyed, and they even quickly melt. None other than the Regis still get the attack buff for themselves, and Ego, he'll be looking forward to finding another knockout. In the meantime, Snowy, he's very close to the True Rippers goal zone, but he's alone. If he gets immediately 2v1, it's going to get tough for him. He's trying to run away. Rex is here to help him out with the power swap, trying to save the day, but in the meantime, Cremorant, he's getting stuck, but there's there another player, that's none other than Scyther. Kyo coming in, immediate elimination along with help out from the Cremorant, and Sableye also goes down from Kyo. Marcos thought they were controlling the tide, but it is still True Rippers controlling the entire game. And look at Kyo! He's running in between the flux, still finding eliminations, doing so much damage. And now finally understanding that maybe Mime can have a chance, but leaving him alone on the top lane. True Rippers full in control, take the Regieliki as well.
Wow. Think about it, right? Azumarill level 11, Scyther level 10. That's how they are playing it. That's how they like to play it for themselves. They are just going for each and everything that they can get. I don't think so. There's no coming back for Marcos from this one. They cannot just come back unless we'll see some sort of a miracle. Obviously, once when the last 2-minute marker is remaining, obviously that's going to be a different story for a different time. But for now, True Rippers, they are getting more and more for themselves. Dux just going for it, trying to do more and more damage, and I think he's getting good. Rijeki, alright, was trying to take him down. Volk, he is doing pretty good, but then again, just not enough. Just not enough. Oh.
He was alone. Unfortunately, his healer is not there, so Volk trying to play alone as a Tyranitar, it's going to be too tough. On the other end, there is the Blissey, which can help out True Rippers, and that's what is happening. Finally, somewhere, like a bright light in the deep dark cave, Marcos find a ray of hope. They destroy the top goal zone. After that, find a knockout on the Azumarill, who was causing trouble. But Devesh, understanding that he does not need to swoop in for a battle, he just needs to level up, gain experience. He's doing that, making use of the mid lane for now. But in the meantime, Kyo is still there. He eliminates Kyurem. Walt back in. He has that ancient advantage, along with Rex also coming in, and now Marcos are looking forward to somehow taking this Registeel away. But in the meantime, Kyo is already back into the game, along with his 4 players who are pushing together. and looks like Wall can be eliminated along with his helper. That's none other than Rex. There is Snowy as a savior here, but looking at two players already eliminated, I don't think Snowy can survive for long, but somehow he eliminates the Mammoth Swine. And in the meantime, before Curem could come in, a good steal, I would say, coming in from Snowy on the Reggie steal, but that is of no use because all the players got eliminated and sent back to the base.
They definitely were sent back to their base, but now we'll have to see and understand what can be done more and more in this situation. Ego, look at Rex trying to chase him, but Ego just gets out of the harm's way. And now Daksh is trying to go for it. Regielki is just around that. Kaio was trying to take him down as well. Unstoppable streaks coming up for the players of True Rippers. 219 versus a 127 for Marcos. Looks like this might just be the time that Marcos can gain momentum, but if it doesn't happen now, it might not happen at all.
Yes. I agree, this might be the time for Marcos. They did eliminate Kyo, but the things are not working out. Curem is the first to go. Walk looks like he's about to follow it up. Aqua Tail hitting him. He gets back the Ancient along with his Dark Pulse, but it's of no use. And now with Regielki free to take for the players of True Rippers, already having a lead. Snowy gets goals done, but it was just 4. No use at all, and an easy Regielki take coming in from True Rippers. The top lane completely under control, bottom lane completely under control. Nothing to be worried about. Curem, with his passive ability, he's sneaking. Nobody knows he's close, looking forward to scoring, but he's seeing Kyo there, therefore does not go for a goal. In the meantime, Regielki pushing on the top lane. They're just trying to cause trouble with Regielki being the ally for True Rippers, but on the other end, True Rippers, this time that they're taking, you can see they're not getting initiated in battle or interacting any of it. They are leveling up, making use of the wild Pokemon everywhere, because in the next 20 seconds, Rayquaza is about to spawn and things can turn left and right. And that's the reason True Rippers do not want to let it slip.
2 minutes now coming up. We are heading on to the final 2-minute marker. That means we know it. This is going to be utter chaos right now. We see all the players just waiting for it. Everyone's just waiting for it as we will be moving on. Rayquaza has appeared and now the utter chaos just comes up. 255 versus 212. Anything can happen. True Rippers, if they get this one for themselves, that would be great. But Marcos Gaming, they are waiting for the final position for themselves as Wolf just goes to the backside. And we'll have to see Rex is on such a low HP. One more blow might just take him out. Look at that. He will be taken down, but slowly and steadily. True Rippers, they are trying to do everything. And I believe this might just be in their favor.
Yeah. Snowy is the only one surviving. There's no way I feel like Marcos can do something, but Rayquaza needs to be eliminated very fast without letting any of the players respawn and get back into it. Snowy is very up close in the top lane, but they are denying him with the Mammoth Swine being there, and there is no way I think they will get a chance to steal it, because Snowy also gets eliminated on the Urshifu, and Rayquaza easy peasy coming in for True Rippers. They're running right to the goal zones of Marcos, whichever is left, getting hundreds of goals scored in, but Kyo is getting stopped. There are 3 players putting a stop to him, but on the top lane, people have already started scoring. A big 100 comes in from none other than Ego. Followed up should be Daksh as he's pushing into the base goal zone. He's trying his best, but they're causing trouble. They're trying to do damage, but right now True Rippers, already Ocean, have a 533. There is no way Marcos can turn this around in the next 40 seconds.
True Rippers is on a winning streak. I mean, if you remember last week, they dominated. They conquered. They went for a clean sweep of 2-0. This week, a 625 already. I can see them going down to a 700 marker as well. We'll have to see though what happens. But as of now, they have a double KO streak, double knockout streak coming up for themselves. Now, this is time for Marcos to maybe get a few more points, but I don't think so that's going to be enough at all, as True Rippers is going to be enjoying laughing, just laughing around as they get another victory of quadruple KO streak coming up for them. Oh my god!
Unstoppable. True Rippers. Wow. We thought maybe with the debut match coming through, Marcos, after seeing what True Rippers were able to do, the gap which was there, maybe I've cooked something up, but True Rippers are like, there's nothing that'll work. Immediately try everything. What we were worried about Curem being that wild card, we have not seen Sableye play until now. After the previous week, comes out today. Was nice to see, but was not effective that much. Did get 145 goals scored, but in terms of knockouts and assists, it's just 1 and 2 respectively.
Oh, it was definitely, it was. But the way these players have just, played for themselves. I mean, True
Look at
Rippers,
Kyo and Ego.
another win. Another win. I mean, it's Scyther, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
And for him, Azumaril, we know Ego's one power from the last week's trivia is he is confident.
Yes.
Right? That confidence
Yes.
speaks. Look at that. Look at that. After the 8-minute marker, just look at that.
Nobody to stop them. I mean, even in the early stages, there might look like a gap which is reachable. Yes, it was reachable. But True Rippers never gave Marcos even the hint or even the whiff of it that it feels like, oh wait, there is a chance. That gap was a steady one. At the last, there were, because they were trying to score 20 and 30. On the other hand, True Rippers, after getting Rayquaza, they were scoring hundreds of it. Worked out really, really well. And I think Kurem would have gone for a Shadow Sneak, but I think he did not. He was just using the passive ability after he goes out of range. He just used knockoff, and I also thought he would use maybe feint attack coming through, but he went for the confusion ray. So I think in terms of the moveset, it was a little bit different, but I would say Volk, we would have seen a lot more coming in from him in case there was a Blissey, because you saw, right, the Tyranitar was of no use, even though Dark Pulse is there, even though Ancient was being used, but nobody to heal Volk.
I mean, that's one of the things that just, was issued out to Volk, and that became a big issue for him. But let's talk about True Rippers' mentality. Look at that. From 8 to 10 minute marker, they had so many points secured for themselves, so many goals secured for themselves. Plus their start, that early start for the first 2 minutes, right? That just showcases how they were playing 99 to 44. That definitely just showcases. I want to see the opposing team as well, the way they played, because their first 4 minutes is them staying at 44 points. Not even 4. I believe it was 4 minutes 20 seconds. Till that time, they were at 44 points only, and there was no change. This initialization and that ending execution is something that matters in this game. If you are doing that in the rightest way, then yes, you are putting a pressure on your opponents as well. But if you're not doing that, it just becomes a mental pressure on yourself.
I agree with you, rightly, Ocean. On dot, on point. That if you keep goaling, irrespective that you're not getting knockouts, if you keep getting scores dunked, you will still feel confident and not so much pressure that you know you will get a chance to get your game back in after your Pokemons have leveled up, after you get that boss Pokemon. But that instance just never happened for Marcos. As you mentioned, till the 4 minutes, starting 4 minutes, they were just sitting at 44, nothing else. Where on the other end, True Rippers, every minute, every second that they got, they kept scoring. And Cramorant, from the start till the end in the final stretch, continuously, there was not even a single gap in between 2 minute halves that he never stopped. At all times he was trying to score in, and he was getting in. Devesh, here if Devesh would have been eliminated, things could have taken a southern direction. Devesh finding an opportunity, calling for his teammates, telling them that he's super low, needs help. Everybody intervened and Snowy couldn't do anything, and finally Snowy also got knocked down. This final effort, this final push to see if there is a way to get a couple of goals scored in. Yes, they did score a couple, Ocean, but there were hundreds on the other end.
There was a massive Everest of points on the other end, and that could not just get them to the rightest part. But True Rippers, I mean, alright, see, it was 2-0 last week, and right now it's 1. Can we call it a hat-trick of a win or not? I don't know, but True Rippers is unstoppable.
Yes, I think they're just taking the revenge of not being able to fight in the national playoffs, in the LAN, in the India Open. They're just like, okay, we have a bigger stage here, Asia Champions League. In the India region, we'll show them what True Rippers were unable to do there because they missed out on the action, and they are doing it. They're like, you bring any team you want, whether they're champions, whether they're the top team, we will take them down one after another. And look at this, True Rippers super in control. Now Marcos, this is a best of 3. There's one last chance, one last push here, Ocean. If they're able to do it now, they get the victory. Otherwise, it's a done deal.
That is true. In a best of 3, second match is the most crucial one. Either it gives a team a 2-0 clean sweep, or it gives another team a fighting chance. Now you gotta decide which one do you want to be a part of, right? Either you get the part of, either you become a part of a fighting chance, or you become a part of the history by cementing yourself as a better team by taking a 2-0 sweep. Now, for True Rippers, they know start from scratch again. But once again, just like we talked about it last week, a curveball or not, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, True Rippers did rip up a curveball itself, where opponent was surprised, got it and like, wait, we had control. We had broken True Rippers literally to pieces. And immediately True Rippers, what they do, the last battle, Rayquaza one, they stand really tall upon it, take it for themselves, and God's Reign, who were so much in control, because the first game they had to lose the second one. There's nothing else. Best of 3 lost. Right now, jump into the second game. Let's see if Marcos have a similar fate this time, or is it going to be True Rippers finally losing the first? I know I don't want to, but it can happen here, Ocean, with the game starting right now.
Let's see. Let's see the bands. Come on, show me the bands. That's what I want, for the start.
Yes.
Plus, I just realized I saw your jacket. You call it a jacket, but I have the same jacket, I believe. Had we known, we could have skinned it out, man. But well, never mind.
True.
But
I mean, Ocean, if you
here are the
remember,
bands.
we do have similar shirts. But yeah, coming back
we
the game
definitely
itself. The bands
Meow
is going to
has
be a
been banned.
Tyranitar and a Mew.
Alright, Mew and Tyranitar has been banned. Other side, we see a pick of a previous ban, that is Snorlax. Snorlax was banned in the last game, and now we see it coming down on Rex. Scyther, alright. Now this is interesting. This duo we have seen previously as well, obviously from True Ripper side only. It's Scyther and Azumarill. We saw this happening in the previous game as well. So yeah.
Yes. Super interesting. They've done so much damage. Both of them have done 90,000 damage plus in the previous game that they played. Now again they come out with same Pokemon picks coming through. I hope Marcos are ready for this. And it's not always easy to see almost all your all-rounders or heavy hitters to see 90,000+ damage. But if Q and Ego were able to do it, you better be sure that they'll be trying to do it again. On the other end, Volk switching it up. He's like, I want to play a little bit range because my all-rounder did not work. Picks up none other than Gardevoir, but Kyurem, he comes out with a Cliffable. We were having a discussion as well, right, Ocean? Like, Cliffable, we've not seen a lot of it. Can Cliffable work? Again, I feel like Cliffable will be more on the healer side rather than doing a lot in terms of damage. So super crucial in terms of playing with his teammates. But coming in with a double ranged attacker with a Delphox. Okay, Marcos.
Let's see how this situation is gonna just work around. But now the preparation phase begins, and I'll tell you one thing. What was I supposed to call you, Lucy? I'll tell you one thing, Lucy. There's just they have to be prepared mentally, as compared to the game plan, the gameplay. If the mentality is right, I'm telling you, the game is coming home for them.
Yeah. Again, we've always talked about this. I so agree with you that the reset, irrespective, you lose a game, you lose best of 3s, you have to have that reset that it's okay, forget about the game, you'll get back in the next one, and you will be able to do that. I think that morale support and that calling ability for their IGL is also going to be super crucial to tell them, forget about whatever happened, we'll get them back. We know we were in control, we just messed a couple of things here and there, but this game 2 starting right now, I hope Marcos are ready.
I hope that too, man. I hope that too, that they are ready. They're ready to just get it up for themselves. We'll see though how it just comes out. Slowly and steadily. The game just starts up. We need to see them hoops coming up, then baskets coming up. And in a while, we'll definitely see that happening. But I want to see who starts up first. And we see a clash happening already. Alright. Karam just coming up on Ego, and Ego is unfazed. Obviously wants to come up with a good start, and that is his good start. It looks really, really good.
He was about to take out that AS energy from the wild Pokemon and the experience, but Cliffable put a stop to it. In the meantime, safe. He also got a couple of AS energy scored, but look at this, a brilliant light screen and immediate confusion coming through, but it did not do enough damage, and Rex is on the chase. He wants to find that elimination, knowing that he's a defender. Rex can take a lot more damage than I would say the Mime can push through, and you saw what just happened, a knockout.
Oh, Kyurem is on low health as well. Alright, just regains it a bit, but on the other side, True Rippers once again, 20-41. Now I told you, first two minutes are really, really crucial. And True Rippers, they have a good number. Not much though, 23 lead, but still that looks pretty decent. But now True Rippers is looking really brilliant as they are going for it. Another one coming up, 50 coming up for True Rippers with that +7 happening for them. And now they just want to keep on going for it. 18-71. Alright, 68-71, 73. True Rippers is unstoppable again.
And the deadly duo is Ego and Kyo. They're on the top lane, they're eliminating white Pokemons, they're eliminating Pokemons from Marcos' end and just doing damage. Devesh about to be knocked out. Volk with the help coming on the side shock, and Rex again looking forward to an elimination safe. Can he be eliminated again? It's 3 Pokemons on 1. Safe trying to run away. The ranged attackers are doing the damage, but ooh, the save coming in from Daksh on the Pillow Swine right now pushes the players back from Marcos, but I think they were about to find an elimination. But it did not, as players all backed off, got back into their goal zones. But right now, going to the central area is all True Rippers as well as Marcos. And Marcos looking forward to finding an elimination. They've spotted out Ego, but Daksh is back again to help his teammate out. And Ego immediately, making use of the held item, I guess, runs away from this battle, understanding that it's a 4-man push coming through. Gives them the necessary space and gets himself some space as well.
Urium just staying onto the back lines right now, which looks pretty decent for them. Frozen, or Snowy, sorry, onto the back lines as we just look forward to it. But this is the issue, right? Marcos is not getting a heavy breathing space for themselves. The players either are being isolated, the players either are just staying away from each other, and that is taking away from the essence of Pokemon Unite. The essence of Unite, I would say, that they are not playing together as a team as of now. Every time True Rippers catches someone, they catches him solo, they catches him off guard, and that just becomes a big issue.
Yeah, Marcos think that maybe they've pushed the players back and maybe True Rippers will now go back to their bases. Rather, True Rippers are just changing lanes, but right now with the Reggie's spawn, it looks like Marcos immediately wanted to initiate the fight, and Registeel somehow on the backlines did do the damage because with Marcos were able to deliver 2 knockouts. The Pokemons, yes, will respawn, but in the meantime, Daksh and Safe are buying time. Devish is going to be here. A gravity coming in from Kyurem to find a way to eliminate. It does not happen. The attack buff works in favor of Daksh, uses Icicle Spear, I guess, and does the damage, and now they have the attacking buff and the advantage, and the players are here. Ego looking forward to eliminate. Kyurem, he is the supporter, can tank a lot in terms of damage, but still Devish helping out. Eliminates Gardevoir, the ranged attacker is down, which makes life even more toughable. Cliffable goes down now, even though there was the Snorlax as well as Urshifu. With all 5 players pushing together, how can you stop them with just 2 or 3 players? Marcos, give it up. Bottom goal zone is going to be the first to be destroyed.
But think about it, it's been 4 minutes, right? It's been 4 minutes and Marcos is sitting at 30 only, 30 goal points only. That is a big blow on the side of Marcos. I cannot imagine Marcos like this. Like, we have seen them just win in many difficult situations, many different situations. But this time, Marcos, I don't think so that it's just coming up. True Rippers, although they have a really good streak for themselves, and this is where they are just moving forward again. Marcos Gaming might just go for an opening, but True Rippers, they know it. What teamwork is. They like to play like that, and Marcos Gaming, they had a good chance, but it was again taken away from them.
Marcos trying to create another opening if they take this Regieleki, but look at the players from True Rippers. They're back in the game. They're running right in between the players of True Rippers. A Unite being used from the Cremeron, doing the damage. Oh, we have a quick pause. There was a 2 KO streak that we just saw coming in as well, and the Regi was also taken, but we have a quick pause and also confirmation that we'll be back to our faces. We will break down right at the midpoint we were. Like, as you mentioned, 4 minutes were done. It was the 5th minute mark, and man, oh man, True Rippers fully in control, reined it in there. You saw Regieleki fight was started. One last push, one last try again from Marcos to take the top lane control, and a Unite move coming in from Cremeron does so much damage, and boom, goes the top lane as well.
Oh my god, it was just so on a different league, a different level. We just talk about it, but what a game it was happening. Like, what a game was. The way it was just going on, it was heavily one-sided dominated. It was almost a 2-0 happening. I mean, if you just think about it, right? It was a 2-0 and it was done. But still, Marcos Gaming, they will have a fighting chance for a while. But the way True Rippers was just trying to gather around, trying to cement themselves, trying to isolate the players of Marcos Gaming. Like, True Rippers was playing as a big, insane, amazing, mind-blowing team, to be honest.
Yeah. Marcos were pushing together just like True Rippers did. In one lane, they get control and push back the players from True Rippers, and they think that, okay, if we have pushed all the players back from one lane, let's just switch up, go to a different lane where we will get control. If there is a player isolated, we will find a KO on that player, knock him out, send him back to the base, and we will start getting goals scored. What happens as soon as they switch lane? They're greeted by 2 other players from True Rippers. And like, wait, we did fight with the entire Pokemons of True Rippers, but where did these 2 new Pokemons just spawn from? But that's how brilliantly that they're playing. Man, oh man, this is just brilliant.
Well,
We have heard
I mean,
there's been a technical
yeah.
issue. Oh shit.
Yeah, there are a couple restarts that are happening. I mean, if we just talk about onto the True Ripper side, so they're just restarting the game,
Only a
and we'll
player.
definitely see exactly only one player will restart the game, and we'll just get back to the action as soon as we can. But trust me, the way this game was going on, I mean, no one could have imagined, right? Again, True Rippers on that domination. Last week, True Rippers was insane. This week, True Rippers again insane. I mean, is there any stopping to them? I just don't know yet.
Yeah, I think every team need to be worried about True Rippers right now. The way they are playing, and especially
Yeah.
this is not making a big changes, right? They're making some changes in one Pokemon or two Pokemons, which kind of should feel like, oh, maybe they're off their game. This is our opening for the other team, but they are well versed in what they have to do there as well. And that one small, I would say it's a minor fact, but it's a major cause of why True Rippers are winning is they stick and work as a team. That 4-letter word, that play that True Rippers are showing us from week 1 now again to week 2 to clinch a clean sweep, I don't know, man. And other teams
Almost
need
a
to
clean
find a way
sweep.
to break this. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. I'm just telling you, it hasn't happened yet. So
There is still
almost
a
a clean
chance.
sweep. There is still a chance, maybe a slight fighting chance. But again, just like I told you last week as well, hope is a dangerous thing, but hope is all we have. So we'll see though once we move forward with the teams, with the games, obviously. But for now, True Rippers, they are definitely enjoying that for themselves, the way they have been playing. So yeah.
And I agree with you in terms of enjoying, because once you get control and when you feel like I'm doing knockouts, my team is getting knockouts, we are destroying goal zones, we are getting the boss Pokemons both on top and the bottom lane, you just have that confidence that flows through you. I mean, Ego told in his trivia, but I feel like that confidence, if it is just not in one player, every player, you just have a really splendid game, and that's what we are seeing coming here from True Rippers. Marcos do have a chance. Again, we have seen them that they were able to deliver a couple of knockouts, not heavy ones, not huge ones. They tried to take the boss Pokemons, but they were immediately overthrown from True Rippers. But I think it needs to be a tactical fight that Marcos need to deliver, where they're like, okay, we will send a couple of players, hide in the tall grasses, send a couple of people to the mid lane of our opponent, and from there, when we are pushing to the goal zone, a couple of those players start jumping and swooping in for the attack. I think that kind of a strategy is where the table turner maybe happens for Marcos.
Definitely, that is one of the strategies that can just happen up for themselves. But we'll definitely have to understand what moves forward. Obviously, 5 minutes were remaining, if I'm not wrong. That 5 minutes would have been crucial. Obviously, in the last 2 minutes, we would have seen something different happening if that would have happened. But again, that might just be happening in some other multiversal line. For this one, we have this scenario only that we are waiting for the player to just come back again into the game and just be a part of whatever they were doing. Or we'll see though how the game just pans down. But we obviously have another match, I believe, after this one. Just like last week, we had 2 matches. So we'll see what happens in that match as well. I believe that one is Godtrain versus the Citywell, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it is Godtrain versus Citywell.
I would love to see what happens in that match as well, because both the teams, they have had their own share of losses, right? So we'll have to see which team just wins it up for themselves. So that is one match. This is one match happening, and overall, all in all, it's actually a good one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this week even looks better because you're finally getting a good, I would say, unlock of achievements, or unlocking the overall league table, where you get an idea of where the actual rankings will be at the end of the day. On week 1, we saw 1-1 on the 2 teams because they were the only 2 teams, but today we'll finally see some changes. Teams gaining a lot more points. Revenant not playing this week. They're sitting and they're enjoying what is happening for the week. So for them also, it's steady time. Work whiteboard as they rework on strategies to see how they take down True Rippers, because of all the teams, True Rippers are looking like they're the dangerous ones. They're the ones that you need to find a way, need to break the gates open, where you're able to just score goals. Maybe not even knockouts, but still get that goal scored. True Rippers are always denying their opponents, as you rightly said, right, in the first game as well. First 4 minutes, one team sits at 40, 50, that's all. There's nothing that they exceed from there. On the other end, True Rippers themselves, triple digits, not just at 100, they push it to 200s as well. And there is nothing that the opponent team was able to do.
I mean, there was definitely nothing that they could just do in all of these situations, but the way they have been just trying to force themselves, the winning teams have been trying to force themselves on the other side. It definitely showcases that this seesaw, this is sort of a seesaw, right? It's being just taken down on one side. I don't know what's happening to my hand, but yeah, it's been taken down to one side only, and that just showcases the immense pressure that one side is putting onto the other side, and the weight of the seesaw that one side is just taking on for themselves. That definitely showcases the kind of competition that they are bringing onto the table. And this competition, I mean, trust me, it is one-sided for now.
Yeah, for now. And for this to change, I feel like, Ocean, we need to see the Gardevoir and the Delphox picks that Marcos have made. That needs to work. We have seen that the Delphox and the Gardevoir, they're trying to work together, but it has not happened. But for now, we have an idea and also a confirmation. The issue has been resolved. We are jumping back and resuming the game from where we paused. And it's still none other than True Rippers, at least with Regieleki, another ally with them. And as soon as the Regieleki wanted to sit on the top goal zone, the goal zone gets destroyed because there was not a lot of goals to be scored.
It definitely looks pretty good for themselves if we just talk about it right now. And we are slowly and steadily moving on to the marker of what we were talking about, 182 versus 53.
Ego.
True Rippers. Oh, Ego. He was really struggling though. But now it doesn't matter. But still, I want to see what Marcos can do.
I mean, in terms of level, if we talk about it, there is one player from True Rippers, that is Daksh, who's still not at double digits. We will eventually see. But on the other end, Marcos, majority of the players are not at double digits. So it's still an upper hand and a win-win for True Rippers. And look at them, hiding in the tall grass. There's a sneak attack coming through. True Rippers somehow trying to hold the stumble off. Gardevoir with the Unite did get one knockout, but that's all. Immediate answer back coming through. A block was there trying to eliminate Daksh here, but Daksh is still surviving. In the meantime, Kyo on the other end with that Scyther trying to eliminate these players from Marcos, which is Snowy and Rex, who are trying to push, but Rex, because of that, after getting that knockout, Kyo will be back trying to get that citrus berry and will heal himself. That's all. Safe in the meantime after respawning is back into the game, but in the meantime Marcos, the bottom lane push, the bottom Regiboss push worked for them. They get the Regi steal and have the attack buff, but they still don't have to be worried about getting into this battle because they can quickly change lanes, because in the next 30 seconds, Ocean, we are seeing the Regieleki on the top.
Definitely are seeing Regieleki on the top in all these situations. 222 points for True Rippers. That should sound lucky, but we'll see though how it all just happens out and around in all of these situations. Daksh, Devesh just trying to figure out everything for themselves, and it looks like they're going to be enjoying each and everything. But Marcos, I believe they are going to get a few more points. I believe they can go for a few more points, but no, True Rippers is coming up quite close to them. And this fight, this might as well just lead to a different scenario, but look at that, Regieleki is here.
Both Valk and Delphox for now are playing separated, and Valk's position is not just trying to help out with Kyurem being there with using the Moonlight, but Ego is somehow trying to find a way to eliminate these players, find that knockout. But in the meantime, as an entire team, True Rippers, they got Regieleki again in their favor, and they have added another ally, so that's going to be a 6th for them. And in the meantime, they've also entered the mid lane of Marcos, and from there they're just gaining more and more experience. Delphox as well as Gardevoir, we talked about Murem as well as Valk finally playing together, eliminate Regieleki way before it gets a chance to sit in none other than the goal zone. But in the meantime, one player, Snowy, he was isolated, and 4 forces from True Rippers jump on top of him and immediately send him back to the base.
166. Marcos is actually starting up. They're actually coming close. They're actually trying to get to the place, but now last 15 seconds, you know what everyone does, for last 15 seconds they're just gonna stay there, they're just gonna stay put, they're just gonna wait for the right moment when Lusaka just arrives, and they're gonna just move forward with this. And we have less than 3 seconds now for the utter chaos, for the ultimate game, as we see it happening. And now everyone's ready for the end game.
Early damage on Rayquaza, but of no win. Immediately Rayquaza restores the health, but Marcos, they're the one who started this battle. In the meantime, True Rippers, are they going to answer back? The block does not work as it is intended for Rex. But in the meantime, Snowy finds one. Devesh is down. That's the Cremorant out, and now it's a 4v5 fight. True Rippers need to be worried about, because the goal difference is also not huge. Marcos still have a chance to get back in. Oh no, Daksh tried to use his Unite. I'm not too sure if he used it, but the Unite coming in from another Cliffable with the gravity, I guess. They did deliver an elimination and send him back to the base as well. And now with Kyo trying to fight for the life, as the Rayquaza is trying to be melted completely, full in control. Marcos get it, and they are looking forward to getting back into the game, denying True Rippers a clean and a flawless victory in their league table.
Definitely, that just happens in all of these situations. But look at that. Look at the scenarios. Marcos, they have a lead for themselves. Marcos wanted this. Marcos is getting this. I mean, this is where they're enjoying it. 1-1 might just happen right now. I mean, nothing can just take away from their side. True Rippers, they are just stuck at 222. This number was supposed to be lucky for them, but all the luck just ran out as Marcos comes up with a 560 bomber. 660, you can just make that for themselves. 700 plus is where they are. True Rippers, there's no coming back from this one. They know it, but what else can they do? That's the only question, as they can just try and stay put for a while, as Marcos is just gonna enjoy this.
Big Unites. They knew True Rippers will try to go for either a bottom or a top lane push, make one final last effort to get a couple of goals scored in, and they had ready their Unites. And immediately look at this, KO also gets eliminated. Gardevoir comes, huge wall, gets a 2 KO streak for himself, and on top of it, Cliffable also helping, eliminating none other than Ego. It's a done deal. Marcos seal this second round for themselves, the second game for themselves, and True Rippers, they're left wondering what went wrong. And that is their Cramorant being that first knockout in that last final stretch fight.
Let's now just witness this happening as Marcos Gaming gets it to a 1-1 scenario. This was a second game and Marcos got it for themselves. The last 2 minutes, we talked about how crucial they are. We talked about how they just changed the pace of the game. Marcos knew it. Plus the best part is Marcos had already seen last week's games of True Rippers. They knew it, how they are just, gonna do it. And True Rippers, they got the first game, but Marcos, now they are picking up the momentum. The third game is gonna be a brilliant one.
And Ocean, they knew one thing that True Rippers do not function well in is if you separate the players, and that's what they did. First Devesh, then separated Daksh, then Safe, and one after another every player got separated. Kyo got separated, Ego got separated, and the entire team got knocked out. And therefore, it is a done deal. But Kyurem, we did talk about this. Cliffable is very crucial for healing. Constantly Kyurem, especially with using the Moonlight in its moveset, was constantly trying to heal the teammate, and I think that's where it worked. And when Volk and Murem, that was Gardevoir and Delphox, joined hands together, magic happened. Things just worked out really well. We see the Psychic coming in as well as the Psyshock. On the other end, I think Mystical Fire is also what we are seeing. So Murem and Volk playing together. And then we did see Block from Rex, which kind of did not work out as it is intended to, but they still made it work because True Rippers gave them that space.
Definitely did. They definitely did give them the space that they needed, that they wanted for themselves. But this is the final stretch time in which we were just discussing. From 166, they ended it on a 700 plus note. Like, think about it. This was good. And from 6-minute marker, True Rippers was just at 222. Not even a single point conceded by them.
Look at this. The scoring chart that we are seeing from 0 to 6 minutes.
Wow!
They did not get anything through, but after the 6-minute mark, everybody tried their best. Started off with none other than Snowy and Delphox Murem coming through, and then once they got Rayquaza, the entire team ended up scoring. On the other end, True Rippers, it's complete exact opposite. In the early 6 minutes, we saw I would say early 4 minutes, okay, that we see all of them scoring, and when we come to the 6 minute, it was only Devesh, that was the Cramorant, who we saw in the previous game as well. Game 1 was constantly scoring, but after the 6-minute mark, not even a single goal we see here, Ocean.
It was just so good, but now obviously we'll move forward to the replay and we'll see what happened. I mean, this was exactly the time where True Rippers had that advantage for themselves, but Marcos, just after that timeout, you can call it, they got a good breather, and that breather just helped them.
Yeah, and also keeping space at all times whenever Marcos wanted to indulge themselves in fights. I think having that confidence, knowing which are the right fights to pick and how to play it, right, worked out really well for them. This bottom lane fight, not this, the next one, where they had a chance to take away the Registeel. Once they got the Registeel and then they swooped in for none other than Rayquaza, it worked out really. You can see Ego and Kyo trying and doing with all they've gotten. but they're not a ranged attacker. They cannot do AoE damage. They have kind of tried to do a player damage, and that's the reason it did not work out really well for them. True Rippers, finally an upset, and finally an opponent who has shown them that you are the ones who try to do a 360. We can also throw a curveball at you, and now True Rippers are left wondering. One last match from a best of 3, it's become a best of 1.
For a 360, they just did a 720, almost like 708, but still, they almost did a 720 for themselves. Like that was just so insane the way these players just played. But now, only one thing on my mind is how are they gonna come back from this one? And I'm talking about True Rippers, right? Because they again had the lead, they again had the advantage, they again had pretty good things for themselves. Only not defeating Ryuzaga in the last, in the last 2-minute marker. It just took away from them. That was the biggest loss of the entire game, and that loss is something that they could not come back from. So I want to see if True Rippers has what it takes in them, or will Marcos just swoop it again.
Yeah, Marcos, now they've gotten the confidence. They just needed that scoring as well as that confidence that they're able to get into fights. They're able to command the fights that they want, and I think it just worked out really well for them. Now with getting one victory for themselves in at least a game, they have the third game here in this best of 3, and they know they stand a chance to deny True Rippers of their point, deny True Rippers of staying on top by giving them a loss and losing their first rank, and Marcos will be getting their first position, or first points I would say, at least in this week. Jumping into the last game, you're going to be seeing the final draft phase coming through, but before that it's going to be the ban. What do you think? Is it the Gardevoir and Delphox ban that we end up seeing from True Rippers, which affected them a lot?
Maybe, maybe not. But then again, maybe they have a different strategy for this one out of the bag. They might just, give up the curveball that we were just talking about. But for now, let's see what the bans are. Obviously, in a couple of seconds, we'll definitely see that. Here, Ruin Sky, obviously, we know it is going to be the draft pick. But there it is. Alrighty again.
It's going to be an Eldegoss as well as a Mew ban that we are ending up seeing. I'm not too sure because Marcos played Clefable, and denying them of Eldegoss, I know, especially with the Unite, the Cotton Cloud Crash coming through can do a lot in terms of damage, and maybe even steal away the Rayquaza, which has happened in quite some games that I've seen. Maybe not in this, but Marcos do a big thing. Understanding that True Rippers, Devesh can come and swoop in with the Mew, bans that. And with Rex, who already played a brilliant Snorlax, was there for the team, picks it up, and same goes is going to be Kyurem. He brings back the Clefable. Safe on the other end, he picks up none other than Blissey.
Now we see a Sizer coming up as well, I believe from KO, and he likes to play that. Alright, we know that he likes to play that only. Devesh on the other side, we saw this happening Delphox in the previous game as well. We are seeing this in this game as well. Now we'll have to see what Marcos is going to pick from their side in order to just maybe equalize or do better. Although, alrighty then.
Now, after the picks, I'm looking forward to what they're going to be changing new. Snowy and Volk still the same thing. Is Murem also going to stick on the Delphox? But on the other end, Devesh has bought in a Delphox of his own. I'm interested of how this is going to counter. On the other end, Daksh could not do a lot in terms of the Mammothman that we saw previously Ocean, but can Daksh do it this time in this game? Ego on the other end, he's like, I've had enough. Now I have Blissey on safe, and Blissey and a combo with Thanatar works very well, but Murem, he's here to change the game. He brings out none other than the Dragapult, newest addition here in the Pokemon Unite family, a new Pokemon, and I'm looking forward to how it works out here. Are True Rippers ready for this new Pokemon?
Dragapult, the newest addition, is here. We still have to determine, in what ways it can change the game, in what sense it can change the game. We'll definitely take a look at that in a while. But right now, True Rippers versus Marcos, this is what we are witnessing. And this is what we are seeing. This is the final game, as both of them have had a 1-1 share for themselves. The best of 3 has taken down to the third one. So let's see what is at stake.
Stake is of points. True Rippers, for them the clean sweep that has been denied, but at least their victory streak can be kept alive. On the other hand, Marcos, this is their debut. looking forward to closing it with their first victory right here in the Asia Champions League for the India region. Things start off between both the teams this third game, and this time, previously we saw Delphox going into the mid laner, and this time it's going to be none other than the Dragapult. On the other end, as usual, True Rippers send Kyo on that Scyther to go for the mid lane.
Slowly and steadily, they are definitely trying. As we still have to see. Alright, we saw that. Marcos comes up with the first goal for themselves, which is looking really good. Snowy, okay, looks pretty decent. Daksh would not want to be in the harm's way though, but I believe he is in the harm's way. Gets a couple of damage on for himself. And
look at Rex.
He will go to his own teammates.
Rex did use XP, the potion that he had, and then tried to eliminate it. But the savior was there, so this is what we have always seen from True Rippers, irrespective of what level their teammates are, whether they're low, whether they're still small, they still try to help each other out, at least by doing some kind of damage, and especially having a ranged attacker. They did save Daksh, but Daksh, he's still a teeny tiny swin-up over there. He needs to look forward to it. His teammate as well, Devesh, he's also teeny tiny. But for now, it looks like we are going to be seeing a top lane tussle happening with Snowy, who initially also started the goal scoring. More AOS energy gained here from True Rippers because they had 3 players, but on the other end, 3 players were there from Marcos as well, but they were unable to get the experience as well as the level up because of the wild Pokemon.
Oh, this is looking really good though. We'll go for the goal. In a while, 11-9 is the score line for now. Staff was trying to do it. Oh, that is looking good now. Snowy, he knows it. He knows it. It's his composure. But now, for some time, I believe this game is going to be on a slot zone for a while. It's going to be a slow-paced game. I mean, everyone knows that they cannot make mistakes. But now, Rex, okay.
As you said, yeah. It'll be back and forth a little, but we're going to be seeing sometimes heavy damages coming in. Snowy hiding in the tall grasses, wanted to take down safe, but understanding he's a supporter, he'll be able to take a lot more damage, and before he takes or knocks him out, it'll take time, and his teammates can get closer. That's what happened. Both the players, they get back to their goal zones, but right now, why are they hiding, you might think? They're waiting for the wild Pokemons to spawn again and go for the tussle, but Snowy! Oh no! Snowy? Oh, he was just getting ready. Comes out to the wicket chop, but in the meantime it was a 3-man push coming in from True Rippers. Therefore Snowy will not be able to stop these goals from getting scored, and Snowy is also super low. His citrus berries were literally taken away from the players of True Rippers. They were snatched and stolen away, therefore he had to give away his life. But he goes back to the base. Early stages he'll be respawned quickly, but right now spawning is going to be the Regis on the top and the bottom. But in the meantime, Marcos, a big heavy push on the bottom lane. Start delivering knockouts one after another and take bottom lane control, destroy a goal zone, and quickly jumping into a Registeel fight.
Well, let's see what more they can do in this situation. Rex, obviously, the teammates going for the Registeel. Alright, that has been taken down now, but on the other side, Regice, I believe, just there. Regileki, okay, was just there, will be taken down as well. Looks pretty good. A lot of knockouts happening. Marcos is on their way to maybe take another victory for themselves. Obviously, the time will tell. We still have 6.5 more minutes to just end this game. True Rippers is not far behind. They know the mistakes that they had done, so they are not far behind, and this time they would want to get a good game for themselves as well, to just cement themselves as the only 2-time winner. And just like the last week they had 1 game, this week they can have 1 good win. But Marcos just came out of syllabus for this one.
Yeah. They're unable to figure out what to do. Players from Marcos are hitting in every direction. A good use of gravity from Kyurem, and then comes in the Psyshock as well. Not too sure if the Unite was used, but it did do a lot of damage. Ego in the meantime with the Dark Pulse wanted to eliminate Volk, but Volk, having the advantage that he's near his teammates' goal zones, will be able to run away, but still Kyo finds a knockout on one of the players, and oh! From the back end, Duck swoops in, eliminates Volk, and they were not ready. This is what we were talking about. Marcos should have done this, but Marcos were, I was just about to say, using the map in its entirety, hiding in the tall grasses, pushing in from different directions. And when True Rippers understood this, they're like, why are we letting them just hide from the tall grasses? Why are we getting, I would say, surprised? Let's do the same thing, and once True Rippers do that, they take away the lead from Marcos.
They definitely take over the lead from Marcos. As of now, True Rippers 187, and this might just be the time, this might just be the point in the game that they needed to just get back into the game again. True Rippers Kaio just trying to do everything in his favor, and I believe he will do that as well.
I mean, it was a brilliant action was coming. We were right at the midpoint, and you saw it was just going banger, back and forth. This
Back
is
and
like
forth.
the best of three decision that we are going to be seeing here, because both the teams are so toe to toe, right? 187 and on the other end 144, only a difference
Yeah.
of 40, and it can swing either way. Whether it can be Marcos or whether it's going to be True Rippers, that only time will tell. Especially this halfway point, I think
Yeah.
it'll decide on whether it's the boss Pokemon bottom lane fight or the top lane fight. Most probably, I think it should be the Registeel fight that we end up seeing in the bottom lane, where both the teams will try to take one Registeel from each other. But who will get that advantage? I feel like will get control of the lane, will get control of the next 5 minutes of what they'll be able to do. Again, in final stretch, things can change, Ocean, but the next 3 minutes that we are going to be seeing is going to be super crucial for one of the teams to run away with a little more goals.
Probably they can just get a little more goals for themselves. And obviously the last 2 minutes, just like we talked about it, they're going to be extremely crucial for them. We'll see what happens in those last 2 minutes as the game just moves forward. The game just goes on to the decider in a while. But for now, I believe these players, these teams, in fact, they do understand their mistakes, what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong, and now these last few minutes is something that can just take away the victory on maybe Marcos' side. We'll see that happening, because Marcos was looking really strong, but then just in some time you saw the scenario, you saw the change that happened, right? True Rippers had just swooped in. There was not a lot of point difference, but they had just swooped in with the points.
Yeah, right at the brink, somebody is going to get that control, but who is going to be? That threshold is going to be super crucial to see here, Ocean. I know, apologies to our viewers that we had a small technical glitch in between. We'll be getting back into the game very soon. You don't have to be worried about it, especially that this being a decider from a best of 3 to be converted to a best of 1. One last game to decide the fate of who is going to be victorious, who's going to be walking away with the points, is something that even I am keen to see. And the pick is working out. Yeah, everybody is, and the picks are working out. We did talk about it with Wall on the Gardevoir, and as well as the change coming in. It's going to be very interesting, but we will be jumping back into the game very soon, and we have a confirmation. We're swooping back in, and this time it's not the Pokemon. We are the ones who are swinging back in, and with less than 4 minutes to go, you can see this is the bottom lane fight I talked about. Around the Registeel is what is happening, and who is getting control of it? True Rippers. They are delivering knockouts one after another. Kyurem is there along with Rex as well, and I think that Kyurem and Rex both will be eliminated. Kyo eliminates Rex. That Snorlax is out, but in the meantime Wall goes 1v1, and he wanted to turn the tide in at least one of the directions. Gets the top lane under control and destroys one goal zone on True Rippers. And look at how close, 187 and 185.
Yeah. Look at how close it is, 187 to 185. This is extremely close for both the teams to just, play against each other. I just cannot believe the way these teams are trying to figure it out for themselves. But now I believe True Rippers might just get a few more points. They might just get a few more goals as they're just trying to run around. But it's not exactly what they needed. Alright, for now, they'll have to get there as soon as they can. Kyurem onto the front lines. He is there, but now his teammates around there as well. Marcos Gaming is coming up. True Rippers. It might not just be a good one. Sap is on really low health. Might as well just go down. But look at that knockout from Marcos Gaming. This is what we were talking about. Goes for a double knockout streak. Wow.
A big one coming in, and look at this, a heavy use. Kyurem, I think it was Unite, he immediately jumps, finds the opponent, and does a heavy blow to Kyo. He had to go back, but Kyurem, he's like, I just wanted to do a little bit damage, nothing in terms of a knockout, because my teammates have already done that. And Marcos in this time, they've not actually gone in to score goals. Volk also, he's just looking forward to if there are any isolated players. This is one of the best toe-to-toe battles that we are seeing. Both the teams have similar levels. Both the teams have goals very close to each other. The tides are not swinging. Even though the knockouts are being exchanged, once from True Rippers, once from Marcos, nobody has control in terms of the scoreline. But finally we see a heavy push coming in on the top lane from True Rippers, and understanding that there's just 40 seconds to go, they wanted to maybe score, but seeing that there are 2 or more Pokemons in the top lane, they decided to move away and get back into the mid lane.
Definitely did decide that for themselves, but now we'll have to see and understand and look as well to what can happen. 2-minute marker, we are getting there. That means these players are getting ready for it. These Pokemons are getting ready for it. You know what's gonna happen. They are just waiting for that to happen, and in that way, 187 to 185, things will look mad crazy.
Yeah, it all depends on this Rayquaza fight. From the top, majority of the players of Marcos are going to be there. From the sides, it's going to be True Rippers. Player Rex immediately check on the tall grasses, comes in with the slam, hits with a block, and look at the position. Daxus is revealed. They're going in for another slam. A big use of, I think, a psychic was used over there. Daxus super low. They're trying to use Unite as well, but every player runs away from the Unite. Delphox comes on with the fireworks of their own, but that also does not connect with everybody. 2 Unites have gone in vain. One from the side of Marcos, one from the side of True Rippers, but there's still a couple of Unites. Wait, actually no, there was not a Unite used, my bad. I thought the Psyshock was in Unite, but in the meantime again, Gravity being used, trying to make life tough. Dux is again super low. It's a 1v1 situation. Volk needs to understand he's a range attacker, he's going to be squishy. He tried his best, Dragapult helped him, and finally Dux gets eliminated. This can be the game changer, but Volk, he was targeted. Look at how low he's taken, but Kyurem is still there, going to be healing him up, but the Delphox still trying to find a way. Rayquaza in the meantime has been drained to half of the health. This is going to be super crucial. True Rippers need to pay attention. Majority of the players were sent back to their bases, and with just 20% of the health, it looks like this is a deal sealed for none other than Marcos Gaming.
They are running away. They're running away. They need to go for those goals. They need to go for those goals, and they definitely will. I believe Marcos Gaming is going to be looking happier than ever right now as they are getting those numbers up. 100 plus coming up for them, but this time 385. Come on, let it happen for themselves. On the other side, True Rippers with 267, but I don't think that's going to be enough at all. With 30 seconds on the clock, how far can they go? That is the only question. We still have to look forward to and understand what is happening as Marcos Gaming with 385 is looking extremely strong for themselves. But True Rippers, it was so close. But is that enough or is that not? As we see a 500 plus bomber coming up for Marcos, they are increasing it, and this is looking stronger than ever.
True Rippers tried one last push. They went for the bottom lane. 3 players you can see are still pushing towards the bases of Marcos. But having this Rayquaza advantage, I don't think they'll be able to climb up. It was a 500 from their 200 mark. Maximum they would have been able to reach 300 or 400, but reaching 500 would be tough. Oh, look at this. They reached 400, but what did Marcos do? They pushed it to 700 from 500 in the last 10 seconds. The team which lost the first game Ocean are swooped back in and get this best of 3 under control. Marcos, what a play.
I mean, just think about it, right? Last week, True Rippers is something that we were talking about as a wild card, right? They did not play in that LAN, so we did not know what they are bringing to the table. True Rippers won against God's Reign, the champions of the LAN. Then we were talking about teams like SATL and Revenant, right? Both the teams are obviously really fan favorite, and Revenant just swoops in. This time Marcos Gaming comes up and they play their first game. This week was the first game that they played, and now they swoop in as a victory.
And I think it needs to be given credits to that double ranged attacker play coming in, Volk as well as Miriam. First it was a Gardevoir and Delphox, then it was a Gardevoir and then Dragapult coming through. Brilliant play coming in. And on top of it is Kyurem. Kyurem was always there when the team needed healing. In that Rayquaza battle, there were scenarios there where Volk could have been knocked out, but Kyurem was there to save the day. Rex also trying to push them back, and that's the reason we end up seeing that Marcos are able to get this victory, and they just eliminated every player who tried to push up and tried to deny them from taking the Rayquaza. And also how well Marcos planned the Rayquaza fight. They knew which players can take damage, tank it upon themselves. They sent them to the Rayquaza pit, told them to fight. The other players were surrounding the Rayquaza pit and trying to fight with the players of True Rippers and sending them back to their bases.
This was an interesting fight, overall. This was an interesting game overall. This is the way we have seen it happen, to be very honest. Fairly honest, if I just, be with you on this one. Look at that. For first 2 minutes, it's close. Then, for the first 4 minutes, it's close. First 6 minutes is close. First 8 minutes is close. And then comes the final stretch. And that's where the tides just turn. Like, no one could have predicted this change even till the first 8-minute marker. For first 8 minutes, if you were a viewer, you could not have figured out who will win and how will they get that win for themselves.
Exactly. You see, in the 8-minute mark, it's 187 and 185 until close to 9 minutes as well. It was still 185 and 187. When Rayquaza was taken, that's when both of the team sides started ending up pushing up to the goal zones and started getting scores dumped in. I think one thing that True Rippers did when the Rayquaza fight was going on, a couple of the players went and pushed to the goal zones of Marcos' end and got goals scored in. We saw 200 around when Rayquaza was about to be knocked out, and I think that decision of sending a couple of players to get goals scored made them lesser members to be available at the Rayquaza pit or the legendary pit. Therefore, they did not have control, and one after another, they got delivered knockouts.
I mean, that was definitely insane the way, you know, it was just put forward. If we just talk about it, but the way these players have played, it was just out of the bounds. For a long time, this was a scoreline that we were witnessing, right? 187 to 185. But then they waited. I remember them starting to wait at 2-minute 30-second mark. So they waited for a good 30 seconds for the Rayquaza to appear. And then they were like, let's take up the fight. Marcos Gaming got it for themselves, went on it, went for the hoops, got the goals, which was needed. And well, at the end, Marcos Gaming, they get a 2-1 for themselves. Once again, they lost the first game. They did lose the first game, but they came back stronger.
They came back stronger than ever, I would say. They're like understood. This is a best of 3. Quite lesser chances, but chance is still there. Why to give up? And also in the second game itself, we spoke about it, right, Ocean? That you should have a never give up mindset, never give up attitude. And I think that reset that they were able to do after the first game loss worked out really well for them. And now we are seeing them as the victors of this match 3. That we are seeing in total, or if you want to call match 1 of week 2.
I mean, it definitely was. They definitely did, you know, emerge victorious in this one, and now my eyes are definitely set up on the points table. I want to see what the points table reads now, obviously, because the competition of Marcos Gaming, they have had a win, they've had a loss. I get it, but how slowly and steadily it's gonna just wave around for themselves, that definitely just sets up one of the questions. And obviously on the other side we have another match remaining, and in that match I know it, one team is definitely gonna win, obviously, right? So we'll have to see what that just brings up onto the table on answers, because one team is gonna have their 2 losses, because there are both teams lost their match in the previous week. So one team is gonna have 2 losses and one team is gonna have their first win. So that is also important, to be honest.
Yeah, and also we did speak about the match that is coming up next. It's kind of a rivalry. SATL lost and were not able to get to the grand final. So that is something that they've been hurt with, and also they're looking forward to that revenge from that time. On the other hand, God's Reign, they're looking forward to their points. We'll be coming, as we talk about the points, to the India League table, and you can see True Rippers, they will be getting 1 point because they did win 1 game. But on the other end, if you talk about Marcos, they get themselves 3 because they won this match in an entirety.
Alrighty, True Rippers, they're still at the first position. I get it, definitely for themselves, but they just know, you know, they need not lose any more points, right? That is important as well.
True Rippers, they cannot take another loss. Yes, because they won 1 game, they did get 1 single point, but that'll not be enough here, Ocean. If they lose another one, end up getting only 1 single point, where the other teams are just taking 3 points after every victory. Immediately, see, just imagine if Marcos, this was their second game, this was their second victory, they would be at 6 and they would have immediately taken away this first position from True Rippers. And True Rippers, they would have been left wondering, we have to start winning our matches. Now the same intention is going to be God's Reign. God's Reign and SHL are the only 2 teams in this league table who have no positions as of now, because they have not taken any victories. But at the end of the day as well, because one of the teams will be taking a loss, it's going to be one team, either God's Reign or SHL, getting 3 points for themselves and joining rank number 2 at the end of week 2.
We will definitely look forward to that, but I believe one of our really good friends, Marcos Volk, is out here for an interview, so I believe we're going to be calling him out here. Hey Volk, what's up? Congratulations, man.
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
amazing,
good, thank you for asking.
I
have one question, Ocean, start things off. Volk, what happened when we saw the first game to the second game? That Tyranitar maybe did not work out, or then the Gardevoir switch coming in both the games. You look completely in control.
So, game 1 we had a plan, and then we expected enemies to play something, and then as you saw, it was a disaster, like a total disaster from us. But we focused on like the last bit, the team fight, which we did do pretty well, and we thought moving into game 2 we can't go with the same mentality, right? Because we had to change stuff up. So we went with like a guard effect to, I think that was like a reset for us mentally, and that's something like we are comfortable with. Like the team has been playing that quite a bit, so we were like, screw it, let's just do it. Yep.
You know, I do want to ask you this question as well. Did you see the matches of last week?
Last week. Wait, were there matches last week?
Yeah, I mean, where True
Yeah.
Rippers initially won. so
Well,
it
when
did
True Rippers,
kind of-
initially won. So, like, did it help you to understand the way True Rippers?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Today was your first game. I get it. Today was your first game. But like, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
like, so did you read True Rippers, or like, was there anything coming down onto against True Rippers and all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we watched the matches against Wazrain, and like,
Yeah.
according to that, we somewhat had a plan. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I want to ask you, there was a Sableye ban throughout when we saw coming in, but here you got a chance, you guys picked up that Sableye. It was doing what it would need it to, but I think as a supporter, it did not kind of work out really, really well, as you said, right? The first game, it kind of went south.
so here's the thing in the meta right now. There's this pink Pokemon that's like Omega Broken, which is called Blissey,
Yeah.
and that pretty much hard counters Sableye. And I remember during draft I told our supporter ki bro, Sableye is open, I just pick it. And then he was like, nah, I'm not picking it. That didn't count with me. It happened in game 1. Let's learn from
Okay.
and he just picked I think he picked Clefable. So not
Clefable,
really
yeah,
have flexibility. So people play what they feel like playing.
Oh, that is nice. That is
Nice.
nice. That is.
The-
Well,
True.
with this
and
one,
the Clefable later
man,
worked for you.
Yeah. It
Oh yeah,
definitely
yeah.
did.
We got the heals. We got what we needed. So yeah.
Well, you got what you needed. You needed a win, and you definitely got that win for yourself. And with that, I'll just wish you and your team all the very best for the upcoming endeavors. And
Yes.
we'll see you around, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations for win again. Bye-bye. Man, you see, right? The reset, we just spoke about it, Ocean. Like, we
Yeah.
were like talking. They should have this. And unexpected, he said the same thing. Wall, that reset, guys. Now you know that reset is very crucial, irrespective of how bad a
Definitely.
game you're having. The reset is going to be there. But right now, we are cooking up for the next game. So for it, we'll take a short break, Ocean. We'll see all the viewers in the next one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. India region is what we are witnessing, Ocean, and we just saw a brilliant action to start things off for week 2. As we are going to be seeing the second match, it's going to be God's Reign versus SATL. Both of them, here in the league stage at least, have lost their first match. Now it's for them a redemption. Who do you think, or what do you think is going to be happening after witnessing such an amazing action in the previous match?
I believe this should also be a best of 3. Like overall third match, it should go to the third matches. We come here to watch a best. We should get all the 3 matches right. That's what. Once we get that, that's gonna be amazing, to be honest. Although the only question in my mind is which team is gonna go till the third one, right? Which team wins the first one? Which team wins the second one? Which team takes it down to the third one? Once again, 10-minute timer. I get it. Those 10 minutes are really crucial, but for all these teams, it comes down to the 30 minutes. 10 minutes for each game.
Yeah. I'm not too sure who's going to be taking it up, but as you rightly said, I feel like it is going to be a complete best of 3. We are going to be seeing a brilliant 30-minute action coming through. But quickly for our viewers, giving you an idea about all the players that you can expect in terms of their lineup. God's Reign, we already told as we met them in the previous week. It is Divine, Noxie, Omen, Scepter and Vixen. Same goes for SATL. Their first week was not a great one, but Prod, Tensai, Might, Ghoul and Curse are here back again for redemption.
A team like SATL, they know how to just turn up the tides for themselves. We've seen that happening on the LAN event as well. A team like God's Reign, well, they were the champions of that LAN. So I want to see how a team that knows to turn the game around versus how a team who has champions mentality just plays. And definitely in some time, I believe we will get our answer to that.
Yeah, this match is going to be super crucial because as we mentioned, Ocean, finally, one of these two teams will be getting points and putting themselves in the ranking system, where we did see that right now there are 2 teams in second rank, whereas the first rank is still taken from True Rippers, even though they got the loss, just because of that 1 point of that one game that they won is going to be credited to them. So right now, let's see whether it's going to be God's Reign getting 3 points or SATL, but both of them looking forward to starting something here in the league table. But quick trivia before we get into the game, for all you viewers to know about your favorite players. Omen, his favorite Pokemons are Speedsters, Talonflame and Dodio, no questions. And that trivia also tells us can play Speedsters very, very well, and we have seen that.
That definitely showcases it now. I mean, definitely.
Yeah. His hobby is also watching anime.
Alrighty then. I want to see another trivia as well. Anime fans. There's so many anime fans. So many anime fans. Which animes do you like?
There's a lot. I think if we start discussing about the list,
then we'll not
we might
talk
be
about
like,
the game,
I know this.
I get it.
Yeah, exactly. So
I get it.
I feel like
no worries.
I want to see Omen's Talonflame right now, as we are going to be getting back to a match where Godzin will be trying to fight. But as you mentioned, we need another trivia before we get into it. It's going to be cool.
This is a good one. Pizza before matches. Every week he's getting pizza now. Then that's great. And he believes in magic. Come on, man. I go to gym. Come on, don't talk about pizza in front of me.
I know. I mean, irrespective, you go to gym. When you hear pizza, your mouth starts watering. You cannot stop it.
It is watering right now.
And just imagine before every match. Oh my God, there are quite few orders that we'll be ending up seeing in their boot camp. Then you will be worried about your gym life as well.
Yeah, that as well, but
you take one, you lose one.
6 packs are importanter than the pizza taste. But well, right now we'll definitely move forward with our second match of this week, which is gonna be God's Reign versus SATL. In a while, we'll see the bans, we'll see the picks, we'll see the preparation, and then definitely we'll see the match. One match lasts 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes are extremely important.
Super. Because in that every minute that we see, one team tries to take a lead, another team tries to go for a bottom lane fight, and things like that. Too many things to talk about, and we'll talk about it right after the draft phase, because that's when we see the game. Right now, bans coming in. I'm pretty sure God's Reign and SATL have gotten a chance to see the previous match of what happened and try to learn some things, and I'd also try not to do some things. And with that, I want to see what bans they have in the next 10 seconds that they come out with.
We'll definitely see what bans do they have for themselves if we just talk about it. But right now in this entirety of a situation, if we just talk about all these players, all right, here we see it. That is a good one. I mean, these bans, I love it. I love it.
Finally, something that we can talk a lot more about, I feel like, because Dodrio being banned, Omen is denied. We just saw he loves to play speedsters, plays it really well.
Yes.
Now he might have to go for a Talonflame. Something to see. On the other
Yes.
end, we have seen how good of a Blissey as a healer it is, and SATL have been denied of using that Blissey coming in because Prod was generally using it. Eldegoss now available to pick. Noxy picks it up and Noxy plays really well. I'm looking forward to what Omen plays. Omen is like, I don't want to play a speedster here because our team really needs that victory, really needs those points on the league table. And Divine, this is what I talked about. I know Divine plays really well as a mime. He's one of the best mimes in the Indian region that I've seen, and he finally picks it up, and now I'm super excited to see what God's Reign are able to do.
Let's see how the situations happen. God's Reign, they still have to go for 2 picks. Now we will just see what are the other picks. Alright, coming up again onto Tarantar, and we see Azumarill, which is important as well. SATL Cursed needs to go for his final pick before they just lock in. Alright, there's a lock in. There's a lock in. Now it's time for Cursed to just go for it, and he is looking good as well as he goes for Delphox.
What is this picks that we are seeing, Ocean? A triple all-rounder setup. On the other end, a double defender, double ranged attacker, and then one all-rounder coming in from SATL. I think God's Reign, after taking those hits from True Rippers in the previous week, they're like, no, we cannot have that anymore. We are going to be making sure that we try to do damage to our opponents, KO them way before they find opportunities on us. After this preparations, we are going to be jumping right into the game. We did see how crucial Delphox was in the second game in the previous match that we saw, because of which Marcos were able to get back into groove and game and have that reset. Now SATL, have they had a reset after what happened in the previous week?
Now we are on to the start. Definitely on to the start. In a few more seconds, we'll see the game happening, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. God's Reign versus SATL for this one, the best of 3. And now let's see what is happening as both the teams, now they start up on their own journey.
Right now, it's God's Reign who will be looking forward to making sure they get a point. Same goes for SATL. We did already talk about both of them wanting points and also some revenge. But right now, in terms of denying the mid laner for God's Reign, you can see the Snorlax already jumping, trying to cause trouble for both the Eldegoss, who's trying to help out Scyther, and they're trying to deny it. And yes, this usually happens. Delay that evolution. Prod right now, he's just stuck on the Snorlax trying to do damage, but it's an all-rounder. He goes in for a mini sweep, but this is not his Unite. For him to get the Unite, he has to level up, get to 8 or 9, and then is when we'll be seeing it. So for now, the only thing Prod is successful is getting himself a knockout.
Just and how they pan up for themselves slowly and steadily. Might is on a low HP. There is a knockout happening. 21-9 is the score line as it reads, and now a +4 coming up for God's Reign. Now they're trying to put up pressure already, which looks pretty decent. SATL, I don't think so. They're going to be just surviving up this one, as they will just part their way slowly and steadily. And now God's Reign is looking extremely strong already in the start.
Yeah, you see, right, like how much of a difference we are seeing from their games. This time, they're like right out of the gate, do not care what's happening, which Pokemon is there. They're going in for head-on fights. They're trying to deliver knockouts. They're trying to get scores done. Finally, from Kupfu, it's going to be Might that we're going to be seeing evoluted to none other than the Urshifu. From here, the journey starts for him to either take up Wicked Blow or the other one, and I'm looking forward to what he decides. In the meantime, still trying to cause trouble. Previously it was Snorlax, this time it's the Mamoswine, not yet completely in its evolved form, causing trouble in the mid lane for God's Reign, but God's Reign, nothing to be worried about. Better level advantages that they have, they're doing damage, but finally looks like a 3v1 situation can happen, but Noxy is there to help. Ghoul still trying to cause trouble with a big solar beam, but in the meantime, Noxy, he'll be actually finding a knockout again on none other than the teeny tiny Swinub.
3-minute marker is what we are looking forward to as of now. 78 points on God's Reign side, which is looking really good for themselves, but we'll have to see what can happen. As I said, and God's Reign, they're quite close to each other. One knockout happening. That was a good one. That was actually a good range attack. Vixen going on to Might's side. He wanted to go for that attack, but it just did not happen exactly. Might regaining that his health on tall grass side. Oh, that was a good one again. Vixen is actually on Might's tail, if anything.
Yeah. After eliminating Omen, they're like, we want to find a way to get back in. We need to deny SATL from getting knockouts on us. And now with a quick battle that's being initiated in the bottom lane, the wild Pokemon yields to a battle between SATL and Godsrain, and it is going to be Godsrain finding the first knockout. Looking forward to the second as well, but the players are making use of the range that they have. 2 ranged attackers being played. Divine, look at him, he's super low. He knows that he's the supporter. He needs to be there so that he can also take damage and also make sure his teammates with the power swap can do a lot more damage. But now the 3 minutes of this game are done with the Regis being spawned. It looks like SATL want to turn the tide. They want to get this attack buff and quickly melt down this Registeel even before any players from Godsrain were able to swoop to the bottom lane, and now immediately jumping with a 4-5 man push coming in from the side of SATL with the Unite as well already on Delphox trying and getting their way in. They finally do destroy the goal zone as well, but Godsrain, they still have the lead. They're at 104. Omen uses a Unite of his own and a big surf which denies Omen to do anything, and then immediate help from his teammate to deliver a KO on Omen.
10-point difference will increase that by 1, or decrease that by 1, sorry. It's a 9-point difference right now. SATL Tencent just with that 1 goal for himself, but they need more. They need more and more points. We are still down to almost 50% of the game. We still have 1 more minute extra. We just talked about 50% of the game. But Scepter, I believe he's been taken down. Oh my god, he's just stuck out on that side. But he is trying to stay away. But Godsrain, there comes the backup on the SATL side, and SATL is also looking pretty good, but I don't think so they're going to be doing anything as Rajilki is just on that one side. And
Unite
now,
again?
Oh my god, 153.
Curse coming back one after another with this Unite is just huge, and now another Unite on the Mew. Looking forward to pushing back the players. Regieleki back in the goal zone, and now it's completely vulnerable. All they need to do is hit the goal zone, get the score done. Prod in the meantime did have a 30. He could have scored and destroyed the goal zone, but he's committing to teleporting back to the base and switching up lanes, understanding that maybe the players from Godsrain can switch it up. But finally, SATL, after taking the Regieleki under control, they are back in control not only of the game and also the score.
Now 153 to 198. This is what SATL maybe needed. They have an advantage now. They have the numbers now, and they will have to keep that forward. Tencent, he needs to get back to his own safe spot as soon as he can. Might is alongside him, but there comes Godsrain. They are looking really good with all the players. They were trying to go for those baskets. They were trying to go for those goals, but it just did not happen. Oh my god, another Unite coming up right now, and this is where you'll see a lot of knockouts happening. Wow. Oh
Curse, can you just stop? From where are you gaining this Unite one after another? He's already used it thrice, whereas from Godsrain end we have barely seen 2 Unites being used properly. Oh my god, and look at how Godsrain, they're just fumbling right now. They're just wondering what is happening. How is Curse back to back getting this Unite and doing so much damage, and SATL completely under control. And look at this, from the top lane they switch back to the bottom lane. Mystical Flyer and Flame Charge coming in, doing so much damage. Scepter on this Tyranitar previously ate a lot in terms of the damage, but this time denying them of the Regirock. Back into the fight is going to be both Godsrain and SATL. Godsrain do get the Regirock, but not the control of the lane. And now look at this, after losing a teammate, Vixen also goes down. Knockouts after knockouts. Vixen, before going out, was able to deliver one on the Urshifu, but look at this, the top lane is still under control. Uses the Unite, make sure that nobody gets a chance to score or even destroy the goal zone, because it's only 13 EOS energies was needed, and still it is SATL in control. Regieleki is again spawned, and quick to act is SATL. Steal is what Scepter is trying to do, but again another Unite coming in, and there's nothing to stop. There's no way to find a steal, and Scepter also goes down on that Unite and the knockout.
Oh, this is looking really good for them, but look at that, SATL, they are trying to get those numbers. Vixen might just be the next one. Yes, he is. A double knockout streak. A double knockout streak coming onto him. SATL Ghoul is trying to pick apart Omen, and I believe Omen might just be taken down as well. There it is, another one goes down. SATL is looking pretty good. 218 points on their side, 153 on Godsrain. I mean, if you remember, they were 153 a long time back, and they are still here. But now a double knockout streak coming up onto the sides of Godsrain. So many players on just one side. That's a good Unite.
A brilliant play here. We just saw both Snorlax and the Mew going down, but their intention was to get Regieleki to the base, to the goal zone, and that happened. They got it to the goal zone. It became vulnerable. A big score was dunked from the Mew. And after getting a knockout, they don't need to be worried about, because the score line right now, as you are seeing, it's 266 and 153. And by the time the players of God's Reign were able to make a move to get to the goal zone of SATUL, you saw all the players had respawned and knockouts were just delivered. And it's still SATUL in control. God's Reign unable to find anything. The spacing, the play coming in from SATUL, the way they're just playing with God's Reign right now is completely controlled and looking completely like they're dominating. In the next 4 seconds, it's time for the final stretch, and SATUL, they know how super crucial it's going to be, because God's Reign, they're going to give it their all.
Rakuza has arrived. Rakuza has just arrived, and now everyone's just going to be busy onto that side. But look at that God's Reign. Whatever they're trying to go for, it's not exactly working. And now they're just trying to do anything. But SATUL is looking really, really unstoppable. Look at the spree that they have. A spree of chaos. A spree of calamities. As SATUL, they know it. Last week they could not get it for themselves. But this week they want to start on a good ending note.
Because somebody needs to stop this deadly Pokemon right now. Gets 2 knockouts, a 2 KO streak, and Unite is what he's just spamming, I would say, at this point. He's just using Unite at all points. Azumarill, his back, was hiding in the tall grasses to steal, but look at what SATUL is doing. Immediately draining the health, the HP on Rayquaza, getting the advantage. Not just the advantage that they had very early on. Right now, getting Rayquaza, they're going to increase this score line to multiple folds. And look at this, another 2 KO streak coming in after a gap. They're unable to stop this Delphox at all. Cursed has just become completely a dominating beast here, Ocean. 4 KO streak, a quadruple.
Oh my god, this is definitely looking incredible if we just talk about it. 30 seconds remaining. SATUL had it for themselves. They have it for themselves, and they are looking incredible. More 72 points, almost taking it down to a 600 marker. I mean, can you just believe it?
Unite being used from Mew to get a 13 scored, gets that scored in and immediately trying to back off, but understanding there's just 10 seconds, will involve in the fight. SATUL, what a turnaround! After the initial 3 minutes, from the 4th minute, SATUL have kept command. They have been like the torch bearers for this close to second half of the game, and God's Reign were unable to do anything. The time used the Unite, it was able to do damage, Ocean, but the Unite coming in from Curse, the fireworks, just destroyed all rays of hope for that God's Reign had. 14 knockouts is what Cursed has, and also has 8 assists. Oh my god, my brain's gonna hurt, Ocean.
Oh, this is utter chaos. SATUL with 712 and God's Reign. I mean, we'll see the data, right? And I'll tell you, since a long time, they were at 153. Now, SATUL is just one step ahead, away from victory. While God's Reign, if they want to take it apart, they'll have to go again. I mean, think about it. God's Reign is not exactly having the days that they want. Last week, not a good one. This week, the start is not good. It might just affect them a lot at the end.
It might. It's not been a great start for God's Reign. I hope they figure things out. You saw Scepter again not having that help with Blissey. I know there was Noxie, but I feel like Noxie was also at most of the times isolated, was separated, and most of the times he was just going and indulging in fights with the players of SATUL. And you saw even in the last one, Noxie had nobody to heal. He was the lone survivor. Might went ahead and knocked him out. Krul, I would say, was a brilliant player on this Mew. His solar beams coming through was so effective, and immediate light screen so that nobody pushes towards him.
Look at that.
You see this, as you mentioned.
Look
From
at that.
so long, 153. I would say from the 4th minute itself we can count it, Ocean, because it's not a big difference between 134 and 153.
4 minute marker, 4 minute 20 seconds to be precise, but yeah, 4 minute marker is where it all started, and they haven't had a single point, except a few. I mean, 134, 153, I get it, but they haven't had a single point since that time. Now that is a long time for you to just witness it out. And I mean, we can straight up go to the SATUL side. God's Reign stats, it's we should actually go to the SATUL side as of now. I mean, no.
Yeah. You see, there's nothing much to talk about here. It's only 19 that they scored after the 4th minute. That's the reason we see them at 153. Otherwise, that's what I said. The first 3 minutes looking pretty good when we saw on the end of God's Reign. Completely in control, everything that they wanted, they needed, and they've got it. But the bottom lane, once the Reggie spawned, that's when SATL took and reigned control. The way they were able to use that Delphox, that I would say leveling up, gaining experience, getting that Unite early, and the new number of times Unite was used. You see, from the 4th minute mark, unstoppable SATL. They've just been scoring goals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it, right? They started up slow, but then they came up really fast. I mean, think about it. At this marker, in first 30 seconds, in first 1 minute, it was God's Reign that had the momentum. But it was not a lot, and SATL took advantage of that thing only. SATL's players, yeah, they were knocked out, but then they started to go for the Unites with a double KO, and those were the things that definitely helped them, and that was needed, and well, it just came out really good for them.
And you saw in the early situations, as you were mentioning, that SATL players were getting knocked out. But their intention at that point was to deny players from God's Reign to level up, gain experience, eliminate wild Pokemon. They were denying that from happening and wasting time of God's Reign players, while their Delphox that we see was leveled up, who's becoming a beast unchained, and there was no way to control it. And SATL, once that position had come, everybody made use of Delphox, made use of the Mystical Fire, Flame Charge, and at any point whenever the Unite was there, use that Unite. You see a 3 KO streak, it eventually unfolded to become a quadruple streak as well, and after that happened, an immediate meltdown on Rayquaza, and again it was none other than the Delphox curse coming in from SATL to take it away, and from there they looked like they never wanted to stop. Hit a 700 mark, and even in that last second, you saw when we saw time over, Delphox popped the Unite. The fireworks were back on.
I mean, they definitely did, but at the end, if we just talk about it, the play that was made by SATL was incredible. We still have to witness one more match, or maybe 2 more. We'll definitely just look forward to that as well. But I believe if SATL continues this sort of a momentum, in which you don't let your opponents take that lead, you just have a smaller difference, a smaller phase difference in between yours and your opponent's points, and then you just swoop in with Unites, with those double KOs, and obviously just taking down those numbers in your favor, then it might just be an easy 2-0. But today, this week has been a week of comebacks, I will say, just as the first match happened, right? So, I mean, last week was a clean sweep 2-0. This week is a week of comebacks maybe. So we'll see if there is another comeback happening, or is it the same story as that of last week.
Yeah, in like when we see the start of the tournament, right, there are situations that teams face first game jitters, right? And I feel like that's the reason we ended up seeing a couple of teams could not do anything, just gave away and took losses. It was clean sweeps, clean victories coming in for whichever team got the early confidence. But as you rightly said, this week 2 looks so good, where teams are getting back into the groove, doing comebacks, understanding what their opponents are doing, understanding their own mistakes, right? Wherever they missed the opportunities, understanding what picks did not work out. And as we saw even in the interview with Walk, he said, we've played this Pokemons and we know how it works. Once they gain that confidence that we know we have done that, we can do it again, they get back to that comfort, they'll be able to pull it off. And let's see if God's Reign will be picking up their comfort picks, or is it going to be SATL who are going to be going in for a clean sweep as we jump right into game 2 in this draft pick.
So let's see what is going to happen in the upcoming game, as we just you talked about the draft pick, and we'll see how it just goes forward. Let's see the bans now. In some time though.
10 seconds. What are the bans? Who did a lot of damage from SATL? Delphox. Is that a ban you think? I feel it should be from God's Reign. They go for Urshifu?
Yeah. Looks really good. I mean, if you just talk about it, these bans in fact, Mamoswine, we know how heavy hitter Mamoswine is, right? Urshifu, we know how good Urshifu is. So this, I mean, both the sides, they mean business. It's not like the last week, right? Sableye. Now they mean business. Yeah. And it looks like it. Oh, this is a good pick. Trevenant coming up.
God's Reign saw what Urshifu was able to do, so okay, Mamoswine as well. We've seen how well Mamoswine functioned, but it was SATL set. But Trevenant, as you mentioned, from Might, not a pick that I would have seen, but again, I think they want to get some psychics in, the curses coming through, maybe the pecks or hammers. Let's see how it will function. But on the other end, God's Reign, they bring in none other than the Mew, which was really good on SATL's end. They get it on Scepter. Divine, he also sees what they were able to do with the Snorlax. He brings it up on his own. And I was expecting on the Mime to see a lot more, but we ended up missing it. In the meantime, Greninja back in action. Tensei picks it up with Fraud going for a Ninetales.
This looks pretty good. Ninetales coming up. I believe it definitely, looks really, really good if we just talk about it. But Noxy, last game we saw the bans of Eldegoss, but this time we are seeing Eldegoss coming up. Sizer is there as well. Ghoul, alright, this is a good one. Greedent coming up from Ghoul.
Double ranged attacker and triple defender set of Pokemons coming through from SATUL. The Greedent is, again, I wouldn't consider it to be completely defender. It does a lot in terms of damage as well. Slowbro, yes, it is a proper defense. But on the other end, Dodrio was previously banned, therefore Omen decided not to pick up any speedster at all. He was the one who was playing on the Sizer or the Scyther, if you want to say. But this time Vixen is going to be playing on that. And Azumarill is not going to be a choice that Godsrain will be coming in. Noxy still wanting to play none other than the Eldegoss. Let's see how it functions. A very well, I would say, ensembled Pokemon setup that we are seeing from God's Reign, where they have the best of all. They have a defender, they have a supporter, they have a ranged attacker, all-rounder, and last but not the least, the speedster as well. So they've fulfilled all the roles that is available here in Pokemon Unite, Ocean.
Yeah, it definitely just, comes up to this situation, and we'll have to see how the situations just, work out. But if Godsrain gets it for themselves, that would be great. If they don't, SATUL will go for a 2-0. Here we start off with the match. SATUL versus Godsrain. This might just be the final one. Obviously, we'll see. In some time.
We're getting back into the game. Yeah. Looks like we have some.
We'll see, but in some time. Wait. You guys don't go anywhere.
Wait.
Just stay here. We are here.
Pause. Not on us. Don't pause on us.
Don't pause on us. Don't pause on us. Don't listen to us. I mean, listen to us, but don't listen to our pausing us. Not that. Don't be serious. Be serious, but don't be serious on our things. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I cannot control myself on that note.
What's up? Hey guys, we are back. You see our cute little faces back again.
I mean, it was a good pick of choices that we saw coming in Ocean in terms of the Pokemons. But I think we have some technical issue for one of the players. So I think we are going to be getting back into the game very soon. One of the players from, I think, God's Reign, yes, production has given a confirmation here, Ocean, had an issue and the game crashed or some. So we'll be again. Apologies for this with the viewers, because again, this is online. These kind of difficulties are something that we have experienced because they're playing from their boot camps or homes. But Ocean, this is at a standoff point that we have faced this, right? We get more chance to discuss. Now SATUL looking forward to a closure because they want this clean victory. They want the points on the table. Godsrain on the other end, not looking that great from week 1 to week 2. Not much of a difference.
Not much of a difference. I mean, we'll just talk about it. I believe it's either the mentality or the focus that's just coming down, because you lost one, right? So you understand the mentality just goes on to a different pace. If the pacing just doesn't happen, so the situation just change up, and that definitely just makes a lot of change for themselves. But if we just talk about the pacing, they were trying to play pretty good for themselves as well, but it just exactly did not work out for themselves. Again, the strategies, whatever they are making, it's just not clicking.
Yeah, I feel like there's something that when they are starting it off, right, that initial confidence, there's one strategy that I have seen, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with it, it's the inflate-deflate strategy. Now when we saw Godsrain in the first 3-4 minutes, they looked high on confidence because they were able to get knockouts on the players of SATUL. But when things turned around after the 4-minute mark, it was SATUL who were continuously delivering knockouts, whether it be boss Pokemons, whether it might be wild Pokemons to level up, and also it is whether the players of Godsrain, they're like, we'll just knock them out, we'll just send them back to the base and we'll just level up. That's what they were doing continuously. So this inflate-deflate strategy for the first game did work out, but in the second game, with especially the Pokemon choices that we saw from both the ends, where one team had best of all and the other team decided like, we'll take a lot of hits on ourselves, but we'll also look forward to doing a lot more damage to them. So SATUL, not too sure what cheeky strategy they have here, especially with that weird composition that we just saw.
Yeah, definitely. That comp, it was it was out of the box, but it was out of the box for their opponents as well, and that is one thing that we just talk about it. But now alongside all these conversations, as we just had, my only question is going to be, what will happen in the next 10 minutes, right? Obviously, we're definitely going to be going in the match really, really soon. We know the picks, we know the drafts, we know everything. The match had just started, right? We just saw the first 1 second of the match happening out there. So we will definitely see what happens in the other 9 minutes and 59 seconds, to be exact, to be precise, if we just talk about it in some time. But what do you think? Again, a 1-1? I hope it's a 1-1 though.
Again, same. I hope it is a 1-1 because it will put us in an interesting position. Now, when it comes to best of 5s or best of 7s, right? Even when it is a 1-1 situation, it feels like things can swing either way. Teams have many more matches to play. But when in a best of 3, it is a 1-1, both the teams are in a do or die situation. Both of them are under pressure. They're right under the bus, but it's up to one of the teams to figure out a path through forward, which is safe. Now, whether it's SATL to deny that from happening, or is it going to be God's Reign who are going to be sweeping back just like Marcos did, it's up to them. It's up to how they play. And just like you asked me, I want to ask you, what do you think with the Pokemons that we saw? Do you think God's Reign can get back into the game? Are they going to deny SATL from whatever they wanted to do?
For me, a pick like a Greedent, that is sort of a different pick as for what we have seen since the last week and this week, right? So with all these scenarios, I believe maybe God's Reign can have a slight upper advantage. But again, it comes down to 2 scenarios. First 2 minutes, last 2 minutes. If your first 2 minutes are good, you will have a good game for next few minutes. But if your last 2 minutes are insane, well, you will get what you want, right? And everyone out here just wants that one share piece of first thing, Rakuza. They get that. That's good. You can just go for those goals which are needed. But if you don't get it, but then again, if you have a really, really massive lead, I get it. That can happen. But still, it's a long story to talk about. It's a long way to go. So we'll have to understand. But for me, it's again the game entirely. You saw what happened, right? For in the previous game of God's Reign, 153. They stayed at 153. There was no change after that. So the time is important.
Time is important. The fights that you indulge yourselves is important. I think the call, the spacing is something that they have to understand and work on, because SATL, they were the ones giving God's Reign spaces that, or pockets if you want to talk about, where they could breathe, where God's Reign were thinking that this is us taking position, but it was actually SATL placing themselves in such awkward positions that felt awkward for them, and they thought, okay, I think SATL are not ready, we have better positions. And when the first Unite was popped from, I would say, God's Reign, which was early but very damaging. Most of the players were drained to 30% of their HP, and it looked like maybe they can be knocked out. But what happened immediately, the help coming in from the other end ocean worked out for them. A counter Unite coming in, especially on Cursed. This time Cursed we saw, right? He did not come out with the Delphox, not even any other ranged attacker. He went on none other than the Slowbro. As you talk about, the mid game is kind of becomes a sloth. We literally have a Slowbro right now in the game, which will happen even in the mid game. And Slowbro is one Pokemon who will annoy you, who will deny you from doing things. He might not try to do you damage to you, but he will annoy you in trying to make sure that you don't do anything, and he'll just act as a big distraction.
I know that happens. That definitely happens. And those kind of Pokemons is something that change the pace of the game against your favor. Right? If you're having a good game, it will just swoop in and obviously will change every single piece of the game against you. And those are the things that every player, every team, likes to avoid. But sometimes it just cannot happen. And especially just like you talk about the mid game, right? I get it. First 2 minutes, last 2 minutes, that is crucial. But the mid stage of the game is where you obviously just take the toll on your opponent's health, right? You take them out, you do those knockouts, you double knockouts, triple knockouts, quadruple knockouts. That is important. And those are times when you either are just planning those combos, just trying to go for it. So if you can plan it out in that span of time, it's good. But if you cannot plan it out in that span of time, things will go away from you.
Yeah, I agree with you. You need to be in control of the driver's seat. Whether you are kind of falling down a flight of stairs, whether you're getting knocked out, you need to have a clear plan through of how you will kind of overcome it. Like we keep talking about it, right? There might be plan A, which might fail. Then you should have a plan B, plan C, plan D. It might go all the way through till Z, but you should have that like comeback plans. And that's when we kind of feel that the team will get back into the play. Because God's Reign, earlier looked like they were in the control seat. And I would say the entire game, Godsend were made to feel like they were in the control or in the driver's seat, but it was SATL actually who were the navigators, right? They were like, you take left, you go right, and they were just making sure they fall into pits and ditches, making sure Godsend never got control of what control they were kind of made to seem like it. As we saw the second game, the picks as well, throw them off guard. Maybe the choices they made, or maybe it's a different thing, is something that we are waiting for, as well as a confirmation from our production. Again, apologies for this minute delay that we are having. It's not in our hands, it's not in their hands. You cannot expect something as a crash or whatever it is that happens when you're playing online. But this excites me, right? We are getting the early idea here, Ocean, of what's happening in first stage. This is still the league stage. Then there is the second stage. We are going to be seeing this all 5 teams fight out in an elimination bracket where it's complete do or die. And now this story cooking up, giving us an idea of, oh, True Rippers played like this, Marcos played like this, and we are seeing SATL and Godsend playing like this, Revenant looking really, really good. Stage 2 might just be a complete different thing.
It might just be a really different thing from what we have been expecting for now, right? Till that time, everyone would have learned each other's gameplays as well. They would have learned each other's game plans as well, even better than before, right? So that also just excites me in one of the types, if we just talk about. But the most important thing that's going to be is how they get par from this one. The way we are moving with the competition. Last week was difficult, I get it, but still it was a 2-0. Today is even more. If we just talk about in terms of difficulty, 1-1, we saw the comeback happening in the previous game, and now something similar might happen. Next week, I'm more excited for the next one. What will happen, right? How will the things change? That is one of the things.
Yeah.
Then the upcoming ones, then the next stage comes up, right? The next phase comes up. So think about it, right? Every team, they will like to present something out of the box, but in that case, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes extremely right? Like, all those things might as well just, change the pace of the game for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. What every week would bring in, especially every weekend being Sundays that we are seeing, the Indian region matches happening, what it can happen. And also teams getting an entire week's time period to figure out the wrongs and the rights that they have to do, and figure out specific strategic plans. Because when we talked even with Walk, he said, they kind of have an idea of how True Rippers play. They will figure out a path through of how they want to counter. But when that counter fails or it just falls flat on the face, they will understand that they have to hit the reset. They might not be wrong on the reads, but it is just that they did not get the right opportunity, or they did not get right control of the game as they wanted. Now, with expectations, there's one thing that I'm expecting that I want to see throughout the journey, whether it'll happen today, to the next upcoming weeks that we are going to be seeing, is a team knockout. Till now we have seen a quadruple, Ocean. We have seen a quadruple knockout. We are waiting. I am waiting for a team knockout if it happens from one particular Pokemon. And we saw it happen previously with Cursed. But right now we have a confirmation from our production, Ocean, that there has been a crash, as we did say, but we'll be re-hosting. So we'll be getting back right from the start to the game.
Definitely, we'll be re-hosting the lobby, and we'll see what happens in the game that was supposed to happen, that did not happen, but that will happen in some time. Yeah, so
I thought you would kick in some more loopholes.
I mean, it's all happening right in front of us, so that's why we're just talking about what might just happen if it is happening, and it will happen because it did not happen. So it's so happening, right? The time is happening. So yeah, let's just talk about it.
The time is now.
The time is now. The time is here on Pokémon UNITE Asia Champions League, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So in some time, just as we talked about the time, it's about time that we see the match in front of us.
We are on the desk, right? Okay. While we are on the topic of what's happening now, we will see it now and there.
Yeah.
There is a Greninja on me. There is a Sylveon on you. I've played recently Greninja and I know what we can do in terms of damage and takeout. Would you pick Sylveon in your battles?
Why will I tell you if we are playing against each other?
Oh, rivalry right here. That is interesting, Ocean. I shouldn't have talked about Greninja that I would be picking up. Now it's like, oh no, he knows. He knows I'll be trying to run into a fight, and then you might be jumping from tall
I will ban Greninja. I will ban Greninja. Now talk to me about it. I will ban Greninja. Now talk to me about it.
I mean, then I will pick the Sylveon and come towards you.
Ban silver.
I'm not
okay.
giving you any choice. Yeah, again, this is some fun we are having.
Just, yeah, but if it just comes down to it, I'll actually go for Sizer.
Oh, you're saying you will leave the Gengar? We were just talking about it, right? You love Gengar.
I love Gengar, I get it, but I wanted to see that's reverse psychology. Maybe I'll pick Gengar by saying I'll pick Sizer.
Oh,
That's reverse psychology.
okay.
You never know, but now we are looking forward onto the game. The ban phase is out here. But definitely, we'll see.
Let's see.
I don't think so there's going to be any change, right?
Yeah, I'm also thinking that, but I'm looking also forward to if there was any reverse psychology that the teams were able to do pre-game.
Definitely.
As you mentioned, but as you mentioned, with just 10 seconds to go for the ban, it should be the same bans that we ended up seeing, no questions asked, and we did see Urshifu as well as the Mammothman doing a lot more, so it should be the bans that we again see. In terms of the picks as well, I think just one player or a couple of Pokemons might be seeing the change of the picks, but majority should be same coming in from both God's Reign as well as
okay.
SHL.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
that is similar.
Wait. The previous time Omen had Dodrio, so this time it's cursed right out of the gate.
Yeah, I was talking about the bans though, but yeah, I get it what you're saying. Definitely. Prod. Tensai is going for Mr. Mime. Yeah, that is good. Now we have to see what comes up on Noxie's side. Alrighty then. Blissey, and we see a Sizer there, which is interesting if anything. What is he gonna pick?
Cruel and Might and Vixen is the only 3 players left from either ends in total. Ghoul, we did see the Ninetale previously as well, he'll still be on Ninetales. Might on Azumarill, but on the other end it's going to be a double all-rounder play coming through. Omen as well as Vixen. Vixen is going to be playing the Lucario, which I've seen him play on the lands as well and the earlier matches of God's Reign. Omen on the other end, I thought maybe he would come in and swoop in on the Speedster, but this time as well chooses not to.
Now it looks pretty good. Final preparations are done and we are definitely looking forward to what is going to be happening in this game.
Game 2, Ocean.
Yes, sir.
Do or die for God's Reign.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are looking forward onto this one game as we move forward. And now, we see what is happening as the game just starts.
SHL coming in on the purple end and God's Reign on the orange. Let's see if God's Reign will able to do something better this time, because they do have a Lucario who will be coming in and packing a lot of punches, as is going to be the Scyther. Is he finally going to be evolving to the Sizer? Are they going to be taking the bullet punches is something that I'll be looking forward to. But Noxie, who's changed up to a Blissey from the Eldegoss, he'll be interesting. I mean, again, healing will be the aspect that he'll be carrying, especially with the egg bombs at times in between. But right now, God's Reign, just like the previous time, they start off with the first goal. But SAT will answer back with a big 12 of their own.
Alright, SATUL has a good start for themselves. They would want to end it on a good note as well, but the goal just comes up. Vixen is on low HP, will be taken down. This was really, really good from Azumarill.
Yeah, Vixen, overcommitment over there. He thought he could even take the berry, but completely denied from the players of SATL and immediately knocked out. But SATL players have not done a lot in terms of knocking out the wild Pokemons. You can see even still in their lanes, as they get out from their base, those Pokemons are still alive. SATL, I think right now the main intention for them is to get all the wild Pokemons which is in between them and God's Reign players, and then easily, when there is time, get back to the Pokemons towards their bases. A good strategy from SATL.
A really good strategy from SATL if we just talk about it right now. But the score line, is increasing, which is really good. But God's Reign, they are trying to go for it. But there's another knockout happening, and there is another one just coming up. Another goal coming up from them. 22 on God's Reign side, but SATL is looking really, really good. Now they're going to be together for themselves. Obviously, that is needed, but now they will have to look forward to what they can do around the tall grass is where Divine is going. Yes, is going to be staying there, but Vixen is on low health for himself. Will have to get out of the harm's way.
This time, thankfully,
Wow.
he's not in the flux of the opponent, so this time he'll be able to save himself, get that citrus berry, but Might, he needs to be worried about himself. But Vixen again looking super low. Might, he, whenever he uses the Aqua Tail, will be able to heal himself up, regain HP, so therefore nothing for him to be worried about. And you can see SATL players as well left Might alone. And for people who have not seen Might play, maybe from the other regions who are seeing, Might alone on the top lane is a monster. Ocean, he just controls the top lane so really well that he doesn't need any assistance from the other players of SATL, and that's the reason you can see SATL players pushed bottom together. And now you see, as soon as Curse, he's like, I've done a lot in the bottom lane, let me switch up the lane. He switches up, he sees Vixen trying to fight 1v1, he helps out Might, and immediate another KO on the players of God's Reign. And God's Reign, they're at an exact 100 difference from where the SATL players are in terms of the goals, 122 to 27.
Looks pretty good if anything. That is a good difference for SATL if we just talk about it. But now they need more. And they need more in this time frame as well. There's another knockout happening. We were talking about it, we were expecting this, but look at that. They are slowly and steadily giving up an example of how you can just put up pressure with a double knockout streak for themselves.
You see that Scyther wanted to push a little further, wanted to get to the mid lane of SATL players. They just pushed him away. He's hiding in the tall grasses. Omen wants to sneak, but behind him is Tensai, and in front of him, oh, barely makes it to the base. He was teleporting over there. If he hit the teleport a second later, he would have met both Might and Tensai. But right now, with the Reggie on the bottom being taken, quickly SATL players switch gear to the top lane, immediately draining the HP of Reggie Aliki, making him an ally. And the player Snorlax, who just tried to deny that from happening, gets blocked and will be knocked out and sent back to the base.
Now we'll have to see what can happen as God's Reign. They still have to get a few more points for themselves, but they are not. They are being denied with everything. 5 minutes plus on the clock remaining as we just look at SATL closing down to 200-point marker. I'm telling you, it's already huge. It's already humongous, the point lead that SATL has. If they get the final 2-minute marker as well for themselves, that's going to be insane. But look at that, so many one. It's a big blow coming down. 193 points, a double knockout streak from God's Reign, but I don't think so that's going to be impressive because they are still lacking down on the points. Oh, it's another one. God's Reign is looking better now, but is that enough?
Looks like it's working out, as you mentioned, and it looks like it might just be enough. Prod will be the only survivor out of all the 5 Pokemon from SATLs, and 4 were eliminated and knocked and sent back to the base. A big block coming in from Divine. He smushed 3 Pokemons right to the adjacent wall, and which gave SATL's control over to God's Reign. Good try, but it did not give them a chance to goal. You can see they're still stuck at 59, Ocean.
Oh my god, still at 59. Still at 59 in the entire scenario. Scepter on one side is trying to take some damage on himself. Regice is onto the bottom lane, which is looking pretty good, but I believe obviously will be taken down slowly and steadily as everyone's just trying. SATL might just have this one for themselves, but Fortune is trying as well. But nothing is coming up onto their sides. 83 points so far. Regice will be taken down. Yes, it will be. But still again, so many knockouts happening. But who is going to be getting a good answer from this one? That is the only question now. Wow.
Might is somehow still surviving. He was even a Unite was used on him, but it still survives with the 9 tails from SATL. Does go out, but a good push coming in from Curse, making use of his speed, sends a couple of players back, but Divine again with the block pushes back the players, and finally a goal zone gets destroyed. And now God's Reign looking like they're getting back into the game. There's a 70 difference, and Scepter is going to look forward to making that lead even smaller and the gap even smaller, but looks like Scepter might just be eliminated, but finally his teammates are here to save the day. Vixen, but Vixen is stuck in various different directions. It was a 4v1. Vixen tried to save his teammate, but ended up giving away his life.
Definitely end up giving away his life if we just talk about it, but 193 to 151. This does not look good. Oh, there it is. 182. God's Reign. They are close. They are away. 222. We saw a 222 curse happening in the previous game, but now it's 227 for Gaussian. We'll have to see what if they can go for more. But 1 more minute remaining, my friend. 1 more minute, and you know it's going to be utter chaos.
It will be, and this chaos has already started. And look at this, there was a light screen being used because of which one Pokemon was knocked out, but in the meantime, again an exchange of a knockout comes in. Scepter changes and repositions, because of which all the players from SATL will start getting destroyed, but might still survive with the help of Tensai, along with Ninetales' help, get a double knockout streak, and then might concludes on Vixen, eliminates him, sends him back to base as well. Therefore, they'll be able to destroy another goal zone, and the lead that Godsden had taken for a couple of seconds, say 10 seconds, immediately snatched away from them, and God's Reign will lose it. SATL back on the lead with 340. In next 16 seconds, we are going to be seeing the Rayquaza being spawned. There is the Regice which is just spawned, and God's Reign, they have the intention, at least this last push, the experience, the level up that they can get away from the Regice. They wanted to immediately melt it out, but with just 3 seconds, they understood they don't have a chance, not even draining half of its HP. They understood it's all about the legendary pit. Goal difference is around 100 for both these teams, but who will take this Rayquaza is going to be super crucial. SATL to win, either take Rayquaza or deny it from happening.
SATL will have to get it for themselves. If they do it, that's great. God's Reign would want to change that for themselves. Might is looking really good, but now we'll have to get out of the harm's way. And now we see that clash happening. The one that we were talking about, Tensei Zertulio on the front side just pushes his opponents apart, but now we'll have to see what can happen, because he's still out on that side. Nothing is happening to him, still on a good amount of HP though.
No, Divine.
But now this is not looking good. Divine is on low HP. Divine, but still gathers it around for himself. Oh my god.
He goes for a nap because of the Unite. Divine saves himself. But look at how they have repositioned the players of SATL. They forced them to go to awkward positions with Divine. This time there's no Unite to save him. He comes in with the heavy slam, but the slam is for him to be sent back to the base. He's knocked out. 4 players remaining from the side of God's Reign. SATL, if they want to change and switch the gears, this is the chance. In the meantime, God's Reign, they're trying to find a way to get back into the game. A big use of that confusion, which does damage to 3 Pokemons, and now they're trying to fight back into the game. They do have the Blissey. The Blissey has already used their Unite, unfortunately, but there is a Unite on the Mew, as well as Lucario and Scyther, if you want to talk about. They've initiated the fight. 30 seconds to go. Noxie is super low. This is the chance. Tensei used his Unite, because of which they delivered a knockout, and Lucario is also down. Divine is back into the game, but he's again super low. In the meantime, Omen trying to go in with a wing beat, but he's only alone over there. If he tries, he will also be knocked out. He tried to run away, and it looks like Rayquaza is going to be going in the favor of none other than SATL. They take it away as they eliminate Omen as well. And in the same time, even before they got Rayquaza, they had already sent in reinforcements to get a lot more goals scored in. The entire team has been knocked out, and SATL close the game right here in this best of 3, getting the second game.
SATL, they got the second game for themselves. 556 versus 227. God's Reign tried everything, but those final moments, those final pinch of moments is where SATL were like, no, it's our game. Look at Curse, look at Prod, look at Mike, just doing everything in their favor. Cool Intense just, coming up really good. But whatever Omen could do, whatever Vixen could do, it was just not enough. But Divine, what just happened to him?
I think one main thing that SATL understood was Divine being the problem. Divine, in that, I think, 4th minute and 5th minute mark, his block, which crushed 3 players and gave an advantage for God's Reign to knock them out, get the top lane control, that gave an idea for SATL, understanding that, oh, Divine is able to do that. He's doing it really well. What we'll do, we'll try and knock out Divine as we start the legendary pit fight. And that's what happened. Once Divine got knocked out, sent back to the base, everybody else was left vulnerable, because Divine is generally used as the initiator. Snorlaxes are generally used as the initiator, and things just crumbled one after another. You saw Vixen, Omen, everybody trying to swoop in. Noxie and Scepter also trying to swoop into the fight. They wanted to take Rayquaza, but before they could do anything or get closer to Rayquaza, they had to face the players of SATL, especially Tensai, timing his Unite perfectly, saving it until the players of God's Reign had used their Unite. He uses it, goes with a pantomime dance, and then everybody was in super low health, and then started eliminating them one after another.
227 is where God's Reign was, but look at how SATL changed it. Yeah, it was close for a while, They had a lead as
For
well
10
in between.
seconds.
But then, nothing could have happened. They got the Rayquaza, they just took all the baskets and they got the goals for themselves, which was really, really needed. I mean, this is where we see SATL stats, and they were looking incredible in the last 2 minutes, definitely. But the gain that they had, that gain was incredible.
Yeah. SATL playing calm and composed, understanding that, okay, Godzilla are trying to get back into the game. They're making 5-man or 4-man pushes in either the top or the bottom lane. Let's not give in to it. Or what SATL were doing, like, we will make that push. If they're able to knock us out, we will keep at least one heavy hitter or a heavy damage taker to survive. And that was all time Smite. Whether you talk about the bottom lane fight, which did not work out for SATL, or the top lane fight, Might always survived. Might always made sure that the players of God's Reign wasted time, and because of that, SATL were able to get that advantage. SATL at all times were able to rely on one of their players who was annoying them, doing damage. Even in the start of the Rayquaza fight, you saw, right? Might, he was going on a 1v2 fight and he was the one doing damage. They feared him and they ran away from him.
They definitely feared him and they definitely ran away from him, but the way this game just turned out, it was just so insane. SATL right from the beginning, they had a 100+ point lead and they were not giving that at all. Look at this, at this time as well, they have a 100+ point lead, which was really, really good. Godstrain tried, but SATL was ready for that, and the way SATL just performed, I believe this was one of the finest performances you could just see as a one-sided domination, and SATL was a perfect example of that. This is where they got it for themselves. This is where they just got Rayquaza and they were like, yeah, now it's game done.
I think Divine, when he started the fight, nobody, I would say, joined hands with him from the sides of God's Reign, or maybe the call was not clear, maybe it was not properly discussed, and that just broke down. It just got separated and they were not ready. You saw, right? Once Divine went, everybody from the players of God's Reign, they scattered. They're like, should Noxy go in? Scepter also swooped in. He came close to the Rayquaza and he tried to use his Solar Beam, tried to do some damage, but majority of the players were better, and also the Blissey did not work out. I think maybe the Unite was not timed perfectly, or what went wrong. Maybe the Unites were not ready. I messed that out. But God's Reign, it's another defeat here in the league stages. For them as a team, they can be still okay, Ocean, because it's in the league stage that they're getting these defeats. It does not make them out of the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. But to look at a LAN champion and see them just getting those losses, that's a blow. That's a big blow. But I believe the mentality of these players, they have a champion's mentality. They know how to come back. They can definitely make a comeback. But still, again, we'll have to just look forward and understand how will they do that comeback once they get that element. All they need is just one game, right? All a winner needs is a one game to be called a winner again.
Exactly.
So all they need is just one game, and they'll just be back on the track.
God's Reign, as you rightly said, there is one game in their favor. Once they get that, you have to fear for God's Reign, not their opponents anymore. God's Reign just run away in their favor. We'll jump quickly into the league table. As we did say, one more team will be getting themselves points, joining the second rank as of now, or the position. And it's going to be, unfortunately, God's Reign at the 5th position. This does not make them in a position that they are going to be sticking at the 5th position. There is still matches for them where they can play. That's going to be against Revenant and Marcos, where they have to get back into the groove. And then maybe we see them climbing a couple of positions. Maybe not the first, but who knows what to say. The league stage is still a little bit longer.
It definitely is a little bit longer, and we'll definitely just see and understand what and how are they going to be just playing it for themselves. The way these players have been just playing it, it's not the best for God's Reign, but they can definitely just make up a mark for themselves. Just like you said, 2 games remaining, win both of them and you'll have good points, definitely. And that's one thing that we can just expect from them, from all these players. SATL on the other side, they have their games against True Rippers and Marcos. Marcos has been pretty good today. The comeback was insane if you just talk about it. Last week they did not play. Today they definitely started up on a good roll for themselves. So yeah, that was really, really nice. But now we'll see what happens on to the upcoming weeks as well, because that's another storyline to witness.
Exactly. I mean, you've done week 1, you're done with week 2, but that is not the scenario which can be on week 3 as well. But now we'll quickly talk with the winners. That is none other than SHL's Might, who's joining us for the interview. I'm really excited. Congratulations, Might, for winning this, and what a clean sweep.
Hello guys. Hey Ocean, hey Sam. Thank you very much.
Hello. Man, what a victory you guys
Congratulations,
had.
Thank you, buddy.
What is the plan? I mean, you on the top lane was just the beast. And we were talking this, Might on the top lane, Azumarill, done deal. There's nobody who's going to snatch that control away. And they were fearing, even in the legendary pit fight, 1v2, they're like running away from you. You're alone. And what was the thought just before the game? I want to understand that when you were going against the LAN champions. Who defeated you, right?
Like pretty much in our mindset, like we don't have that image that they are like the champions and we must be scared or something. But yeah, we had we have to first, the important part is the draft and we have to focus on that, and I think we got a good lead in that, and half the game is kinda decided in the draft, and then it's up to us to maintain the lead and keep the game steady and go with the plan. So yeah, we did that and it worked very well for us.
Definitely. And if we just talk about the mentality, you guys lost one match. That happened last week, right? You guys lost that one match, but now this time you guys had a really, really good game for yourselves and you guys won this match. So I want to see, what was the preparation in between that happened? You talked about the mental phase, right? So how did it just change everything?
Nothing much. The last week match was also good against Revenant. We just did some minor mistakes and that was bad on our part, and we worked on that, and here's the result.
Yeah. The reset, right? I really like from the players that you just find a way to reset, and as Might, you said that one draft pick that you get and you're comfortable with it, just one good game, you're ready to go. And I want to ask you one thing that just confirmed you, you've got this. Even in this last one, right? It looked a little bit closer in the second game where God's Reign could have gotten back and pushed you to the third game. What worked out in that last 2 minutes fight?
Well, there was a moment when I had to use my Unite move against the Scyther and the Blissey when I got caught out in the top lane. And I kind of thought, yeah, it can be a bad trade, but we held out the fight long enough and my Unite move came back within 40 seconds. And then we knew okay, we are at advantage and their Unite moves are gone and we can pretty much, stall out the whole game now.
Nice.
This tells us,
really
right,
nice
Ocean, they're prepared for everything. Brilliant play coming in, Might. We'll be looking forward to a lot more from SHL victories, and especially qualifying, making sure that you're the top or the first position ranking after the league stage as you jump into the second stage. Congratulations once again. See you in the next game victory when we meet again.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
All the best.
Wow. You see, after taking a loss previously in the last week, they're like, we're back in the groove, don't worry.
So results are in front of you, right? And results definitely were in front of us. But I want to see more and more results from these players. They're just talking about, more and more results. What I mean is the upcoming weeks, right? How they play, how their mentality is, how they just showcase themselves. That matters a lot. And obviously upcoming games, upcoming weeks, they're going to be incredible.
Yeah, after seeing there were sweepbacks, right, clean sweep that we also saw right now from SATL, that morale getting back after a week, it's tough because we know all these teams are the best teams of India. So taking even one team down is going to be very difficult. Now, you're coming to the end of this week's matches, but in case you wanted more information, the link was there. I always miss it to say at the right time, but yes, in case you want more idea about the other regions as well, East Asia and Southeast Asia also going on, they have their 5 teams as well. But Ocean, we're done for this week's. The week 2 was amazing. One comeback that we saw, clean sweep, that was from Marcos, and SHL got their first victory with the clean sweep. Now it's on to the week 3, and we'll also catch you in the week 3. Until then, take care. It's going to be me, Lucifer, along with Ocean, signing out. See ya.